Welcome to the Human Mass Podcast. Today I've got Mina. Now on the Human Mass Podcast, I am very proud of my eclectic mix of guests. And it's very important to me that I want to talk to the guests and I vibe with that guest. Mina, I come across Mina on Instagram and I just vibed and I love some of the things she was talking about, which we're going to talk about, I'm sure. And she had no intention of coming on a podcast or anything like that. And I get not told off, but Rich always says to me, make sure you get people on that have got loads of followers and da-da-da, and I just completely ignore it every time. I want people on who I want to speak to, who I vibe with. And Mina was definitely one of those people.
I like it.
Yeah. Welcome, Mina.
Nice to meet you, Alex. Finally.
Finally, I know. And thank you for coming up.
No, thank you for inviting me.
From
really
Reading.
excited. Yes, it's been a long journey.
I know. And so, we've got lots to talk about.
Yes.
We don't know where we're going to go.
Yeah, freestyle.
We don't know. We haven't done a pre-podcast.
Tried not to.
Tried not to.
Very hard.
There's so many different subjects running around my brain to talk to you about, but you know what's coming at you. So, what is, there's only one blank question.
Yeah.
So, Mina, who are you?
Okay, so obviously this is something I thought about, on my own self-discovery journey. And this question itself, I just don't think it's that straightforward to answer. The question, who are you? Obviously it refers to the self, the identity. And I think it's more of an emergent question. So I think for me to answer the question, who are you? I think I may have to answer some previous questions like, what am I? Where am I? When am I? Kind of thing.
Go for it.
Because I think I'm a combination, like, who are you? That question, I think is a combination of all the, those three questions.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I ask who are you, and obviously a guest will give an answer. And everyone's been pretty unique because you've seen the podcast, haven't you?
Yeah.
And then they did give the answer. We talk a bit about it, then we go on to different subjects. We're going to have a subject about who are you?
I'm literally overanalyzing the question itself.
No, I
do that all the time.
I love it. Go on.
Because like the way I see myself
You're going to take us back to go forward, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm just
sort of
going to go do the rounds.
Yeah, right, I'm going to shut up now.
Just
I really like that. I like it.
Just everything that I've of how I've understood myself. And bearing in mind, I only use like 5% of my brain. So I don't think I'm ever going to know who I am entirely.
Is that a fact? It's more than that, isn't it?
I don't think 5% is a fact. I think I'm just something around that number.
Yeah.
Is it 10%?
Yeah, that's low, isn't it, though? It is amazing.
We don't use most of our brain.
I know. It's crazy.
But I think the who am I? So
go on.
Yeah, I mean,
who are you, Mina?
I'm a human. So the what am I kind of feeds into who am I? I'm a human. I have like biological functioning. I have the ability to, distinguish between this and that. Like all the biology of who I am and how I function. The what am I? The where am I? The where am I is where the demographic in terms of like the culture that I've been influenced by and the people that I've been around and all that sort of stuff. The when am I is more like, I don't know if you've looked into generational theory, like the millennials and the Gen Zs and
I understand it, but I don't know what the theory is.
I don't know it too deep,
Yeah.
but I know depending on the time period you were born in, of course, whatever was happening in that world, you would have been influenced and developed based upon whatever's kind of going on. Like millennials, we were there to see the new millennium. This is where kind of technology advanced or we went through the transition at least because I've lived a life where I've not had any technology and had a very free kind of flowing childhood, living in reality. And then technology came into the play and it kind of like just changed the way the world works. So I think I'm a combination of those three. The what am I, human, biological, have like certain, biological preferences that kind of feed into my behavior and like, I guess just how I'm predisposed to operate. So just to sum it up, I am, I would say, an individual that's connected to a much larger system of life that I'm constantly interacting with, interfacing with, and it's constantly influencing me in ways that I see myself in new ways. And yeah, I don't really know. It's a hard question, isn't it?
It's hard. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It's such a hard question to answer because I feel like I'm always discovering myself as well.
Yeah, so you're an
evolving process.
To summarise, I was going to say, to summarise your own summary.
Yeah.
So you're an ever-evolving human.
That's how I would see myself, yeah. But I think biologically I have preferences and I'm like...
What do you mean to...
So what I'm absolutely obsessed with...
As a female, you mean?
As a human.
Oh, I thought you meant biology, no.
So like...
Could you split it down to female, male, or is that not a thing, do you think?
I think there is something about that. There's a difference between like, because I'm talking about the components of the brain and stuff like that. There is a difference. Like we all have a brain that functions in very similar ways. Like we all learn and decide, right? That's what every single human does. That's objective. But I think for the male and female, it can differ. I don't know exactly how that works, but I know men tend to have like, they're more linear with their thinking, and women are more kind of like, you get men that are not just, you know, pure black and white thinking and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're not.
But
We're one about
women are more-
majorities, not everything, not everybody. Yeah.
Like men are more kind of like effective in their decision making and stuff like that. Women are kind of more comprehensive in like taking into account community, and there's many factors. Of course, women are mothers, so we have to be able to like naturally be able to juggle a lot of hardships and stuff like that. But like when I say biology, I mean personality type. This is like why I'm obsessed, because it's helped me understand myself a lot better, how I'm biologically wired, right? From fresh out the blister packaging, right? When I come out of my mum's womb, I had like a predisposition, right? And
Where does that come from, do you think?
I believe in God.
So
I believe there is an all-knowing creator.
What's your religion? Which God?
I'm Muslim.
Wasn't yet.
I've gone through a bit of a journey with my religion. I don't know if you want to go into that now, or if like you have any.
It's up to you. Let's just go where it goes.
So I
go
feel
where
like
it goes.
I've started off with like two topics here. Like we've got the biology
Okay,
of the brain and the
I'll
religion.
remember religion. You go down the biology route then. Go on then. I'll bring the religion back in.
We can kind of round up the who are you question, I guess. So yeah, because I feel like I'm not even done with it yet. So yeah, in terms of my predisposition, now I think everyone has a predisposition, and it's kind of like I think the analogy I like to use is the seed of a tree. So we basically have a brain. Everyone has a brain, and that brain is like a blueprint for how you're going to grow and develop, you know, throughout life. So we all come into this world already kind of pre-designed, set up for like to have certain inclinations to certain behaviors. Again, this is why I say preferences. Like we have inclinations. For example, I'm pretty sure the things that you're interested in, you didn't just choose to be interested in them, right? It's like you gravitated towards it.
Yeah.
So that's your predisposition. It's like to do with your energy management, your like where your attention gets directed. Some things just capture your attention and you're like consumed by it. You know, you just can't
vibe with
vibing,
it.
like the word you like to use, like vibing. Like you don't decide who you vibe with, kind of thing. You just feel inclined towards someone. So yeah, that's all part of like your predisposition. For me, it's ENTP. So ENTP, just knowing these 4 letters doesn't really take you deep into the nuances and all like the muck behind the hood and stuff like that. But ENTP is extroverted. So this is how I would round myself up. Extroverted, intuitive, thinking, perceiving.
And did you already know these things when you did just so people know at home then? So there's different personality types, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's what it is basically. And they class them with these ENJ, is it? ENJ?
Yeah, so there's like dichotomies, like the basics to describe how you learn information, your orientation to the inner or the outer world, your decision-making functions, and yeah, that's those 3, yeah. So that's like the baseline criteria for like how humans operate.
So like Einstein always said, if you judge a fish by its intelligence to climb a tree or whatever,
Oh my gosh,
it should
I love that quote.
Basically, you know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah,
So basically saying if a fish should be in the water.
Yeah.
So that's what you're saying with the personality types. If you find out where you should be vibing towards, then you're not going to feel like a fish up a tree.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh yeah, this feels better. It's
Oh
not
my
hard,
gosh.
not hard work anymore.
Yeah.
It's like that, isn't it?
100%.
And what did you discover about yourself when you did that then?
Oh my gosh, where do I even start? Well, first of all, I found out that I didn't know myself.
Really?
Like I honestly, so I've been on such a journey, I don't even know where to start with it all. But so I was introduced to this in like 2013, but that mindset I had back then was very close-minded. So it was interesting, but I didn't like go deep into it because the mindset I had back then was like, if what I'm learning doesn't align with my religion or like, you know, what I believe in terms of my faith, I'm not interested in it. Because I used to see humans as quite like intellectually deficient. I genuinely thought that we weren't able to think for ourselves and everything had to be divine, you know, inspiration for us to actually live a good life. And my mindset's changed so much from then. So I was introduced to it then. And like I said, I thought it was interesting. Initially, I got INTP. I'm not sure if like, you know, most people who watch this are going to be familiar
You can
with.
Google it, can't you?
Yeah, you can Google it. Like there's so much resources available online. And what's really funny, this is why I was saying to you, when you do the online test, it's not always reliable because you can really mistype yourself. So like the lifestyle that I was living, it was very secluded because I was, you know, really deeply religious and I didn't really go out much. I didn't really want to be around people. It was a lot of trauma, to be fair, you know, hence why I got into that kind of mindset. But the lifestyle that I set up for myself, it was a very introverted lifestyle. So when I did the test the first time, I got an introvert. But that's not my biological behavior. I'm naturally an extrovert. You know, so we can really misjudge ourselves based upon the circumstances of our environment, the influences from the people that we're around. to be fair, there's so many influences, educational, media, like all these
Yeah,
influences.
your parents.
Yeah, your parents, like culture, everything kind
It's
of
not
plays
even your
into
parents, it's their parents' parents.
Yeah.
Because it's passed down, isn't it?
Yeah, literally.
And sorry to interrupt you.
No, go for it.
So what you said about evolving, so you now know that your personality type changed. So you're obviously open-minded still enough to know it could change again. So you could do another test in 5 years and it could be different again.
So with the whole changing, this is another framework I'm going to have to explain. You're going to see my eyes darting. Like, 'cause I don't know if you know this, but eye movements indicate a person's thought process. When you see people with fixed eye movements, it's like they've got a lot going on inside and everything's already in there. People who like move their eyes side to side, they're scanning for like connections in their environment to like, it's really interesting. And this is all like explained in personality type. Sorry, what was your question, Alex?
Brilliant.
What was your question?
So you're open to the fact that you could change again.
Right. So, okay.
Do you think you're fixed now? All right, I was that, now I'm this.
No.
But you could change it in 5 years. You could do that personality test and get a different result. Is that right?
So the reason it changes, because that's maybe we understand the reason it changes, is because of your self-perception, how you see yourself. So your personality type, it doesn't actually change because it's to do with like genetics, like your brain wiring.
Right.
Now,
That's proven like a thing.
Yeah, Dr. Dario Nardi has a lot of work on this. So he's like a personality neuroscientist. So we have like, scientific-based evidence to prove, and they can literally map the cognitive functions on the brain to show how the brain's kind of functioning.
What's the rarest personality type?
Apparently INFJ.
Okay.
And it kind of makes sense because when you look into the functions and what they're designed to do and how they influence how the world, ends up, or I guess the state of the world, the INFJ, they have like introverted intuition, which is understanding like the paradoxical and being able to, this is my sister's type and it's one of my shadow functions. So it's hard to explain it, but introverted intuition, it's a very deep function, but it's also kind of one of those functions that it wants to what's the word I'm looking for? Revolutionize or reinvent the world. And we do need like a stable, structured world to live in. So if there were a lot of INFJs, the world would be quite chaotic because the introverted intuition function is also very abstract. And we need to be able to like build a world that is concrete and, somewhere that's safe for us to live. So intuitives are actually, I think, more rare than sensing types, which I haven't really spoken about sensing types. And I haven't also I haven't even finished about whether personality type changes or not. So we're going to be terrible, Alex. Like, but let me just.
Go.
So
both at the same time.
Your personality type, because it's genetic, we have like a constant to us, but we also like we're fluid and we're dynamic and we can adapt. So your core personality type is your brain functioning, like your preferences. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Because you need to be able to have like one orientation to either the outer world or the inner world, which is going to regain your energy kind of thing. If you had both introversion and extroversion operating at the same level, where would you be getting your energy from? So we have both, but we have a preference for one over the other. And that can't change because I can't now suddenly just be energized by my internal world, which is introversion, whilst also being energized by the external world. So where do I rest? So like we have that orientation, it's fixed. Like I always find myself getting energized. Like right now, this is energizing for me because this is an extroverted activity. I'm engaging, I'm talking to you. I'm also just very excited. Extroverts, they're animated in their hand movements and all that sort of stuff. They speak really fast. That's always been a part of me. It's never going to change. But you need to develop your introversion because you will become like a scattered mess. So we do need to find balance. So yeah, you have that core fixed type and that kind of anchors you in the world of chaos because like the world outside of you, you are constantly like, because you're so susceptible to being influenced by the outside world, you have to have a core that anchors you so that you can have things like values and substance. Do you know what I mean? Because one day you'll be this, next day you'll be that, next day you'll be this and that. You'll be constantly changing without any substance to who you are. So we're adaptable, we're fluid, we can learn, we can, operate outside of our core, but your core doesn't actually change. What changes is your perception of yourself. And that comes with like experience. And that's what happened to me, because I was living a very isolated life. Realized this doesn't, and I felt it when I realized that this life, there's something, I don't feel aligned kind of thing. When I spoke to a type professional and she said to me, you're an extrovert, immediately I understood why I was experiencing that kind of burnout because I was just alone too much. I was just secluding myself and not giving myself opportunities to go out and explore and meet new people, come up with new ideas. And yeah, so
that's really interesting.
It is so fascinating.
I think people don't know, do they, I suppose, that they're in that state. And they feel like they're tired and they're burned out, and they think
don't know the source.
Yeah, they don't know the source. And it's interesting, Graham, just nodding at the religion side and what you just said. we're all, and even astrology, just a little bit of astrology in there. We all think we're so unique. And then to be able to say to somebody, yeah, you're really unique, Dave, but you're that personality type, you're that star sign, and that's actually the same as those 40 million people over there.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So does it take away the uniqueness and the individuality of people by saying, because I like astrology. Everyone knows I love astrology, and people do match their star sign quite often. It's mad to see. They just do.
Listening
Whether
to
it's
you talk about it's
the
interesting.
rising sign or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then personality types I know can be, because I've looked at that as well years and years ago. So are we taking it away, the unique and individualism? Like studying human behaviours or humans for so long in my life, it's very rare that I come across people. Well, actually, doing this world now that I'm in, yeah, it's great. I see much different personalities. But going back, there's so many people that think they're so unique and they're just not. I've seen that person, your type, a million times. So how do we create that unique individuality? Or do we just accept we're not that different?
I mean, we can't change the fact that we have, like, I'm pretty sure you've heard of the term, like, archetypes, like the collective unconscious, the fact that humans are connected, you know, consciously, and we do, I guess, inhabit the same kind of behavior patterns in a way. Like, you'll see similarities and differences in people. I think the individuality comes from the fact that we're all kind of navigating this earth in our own individual, like, specific way. And we're seeing things from a different perspective, kind of thing. Like, no two people are going to have the same kind of perception on something, or perspective rather.
Based on the way they've been taught, the way they've been brought up.
Yeah, like even two people in the same household grew up together in the same household, they're going to be very different. But they could still have the same underlying biological behaviours, but your experiences like flavour that differently, kind of thing. And that's why I think personality type's so, like, it's one of the richest models that I've ever worked with, because it doesn't, because you can't give like an individual case study for every single human being, you know, to try and promote that individuality. That's way too much information for any human to accommodate. So we have like those foundational blocks, like building blocks of human personality. This is where we're similar. This is where we're different. For example, two extroverts, they both have like an orientation to the outer world. They like to, you know, float across the earth. They might achieve a lot. They might feel like a little bit empty inside if they don't tap into their introversion. But they're still going to have very different experiences of how they go about that, which is going to give them that individual kind of...
And everyone's got that yin and yang. Everyone's got that introvert and extrovert, you mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's really important to like find balance with the two. Do you know what, Alex? I should have brought my little whiteboard so I can like write some visuals down, because this stuff's so abstract and it's nice to have visuals so I can actually like...
Well, make sure when this comes out, your page, so when people go and look, you've got something that they can see or click on to. Yeah, she'll have that ready. She's very organised. She'll have that ready.
Internally organised. Externally, I'm a mess. Like an absolute mess.
I'll remind you.
Yeah.
And so going back to the religious thing.
Yeah.
So again, we're taking away the uniqueness and the identity of people by saying that God is saying, because you said it was God made the person, obviously, that planted the seed. So God has made us all the same, but unique. See what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think that, does that make sense? Or did you not?
I'm asking you, that's your belief.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you think.
The same but unique.
Yeah, so he's made us all the same.
In terms of functioning, I wouldn't say the same. Like fundamentally, there's like similar patterns. So I might operate that, but we also have the differences as well. So again, when you understand the like the main functions, like those, you know, introversion, extroversion, sensing, intuition, when you understand those, and you can see how we are similar, how we're different. But then again, like we're individuals who are navigating this earth, not entirely alone, because although we're individuals, we don't exist in isolation. You know, we're part of a much larger interconnected system of like other people.
And that's a whole different subject. That's where we can get into the environment, plants, frequencies, and just keep on the. So about the religion thing. Yeah. So I've got a friend who's religious, and I said to him at the time, by the way, I'm not saying I'm not religious. There's a word for me, I think. Anyway, it's not about me.
I think you should make it a little bit more sometimes.
And I think that there was word on the news about aliens being announced and stuff like this, and that we're not alone, and that's a whole different subject again. And I said to my friend, what would you say then? He said, yeah, God made them too.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to debate or chat
Right.
with people that are religious because there's that wall of it's just an easy. It feels like an easy answer. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly. And I've had because I used to, I won't say debate, but I've had because I like conversation with people, and I've had like TikTok lives and talking to all kinds of people because I love.
Oh, did you go on? Did you?
Yeah, yeah.
Regular,
I talk
you
to
go on there?
atheists.
I didn't know that.
Well, not regularly. Sometimes I just, I'm bored and I just want to sometimes
Choose
just go,
out there.
like just have a conversation. And I think like from a religious perspective, like the fundamental belief that everything kind of was originated, and it came somewhere. I think that's kind of why religious people kind of go back to that, because everything must have a source. Like if you look around you, you can't deny that we exist. The heavens and the earth exist beyond any doubt. And I think for a religious person, it just kind of makes sense that anything that exists must have a cause for their existence, kind of thing. And obviously, as a Muslim, I believe that's Allah, God, and I think humans.
And where did that come from? How was you introduced to that religion?
Okay, so I was never, I weren't born religious. Pretty typical Western lifestyle. Used to be a
Your
party
mum or dad
girl.
aren't?
No. No, so I experienced a pretty bad heartbreak when I was like 21. And so I think I was in a very vulnerable place. And I know a lot of people do turn to religion when they're quite vulnerable. And there was a lot of people around me at the time becoming Muslim. And again, because I'm quite, extrovert, I look to the outside world. I'm like, what's this religion? I've never been a closed-minded person. So I was very intrigued to know why are all these people becoming Muslim. And so I downloaded the Quran one day on my phone. It's just an app. And I opened up the app and I started flicking through the pages, which I actually thought were people at the time. I'm like, who's this person? Who's this person? I was so ignorant. I didn't know anything about this book. And so I click on a random chapter, again, start scrolling through, click on a random verse. And what I read, Alex, like, it had so much like authority and so much power. It actually scared me, because I'd never heard words like that come from a man. I just knew there was
Do you remember what it was, that verse?
Yes, it said, for those who are reminded of the verses of their Lord and they turn away from them, do they then have no sense? And yeah, it hit me because it's just the authority within that verse. I'm like, that's what struck me. It was like, it made me feel something and I know you can't really base your faith on how you feel.
Yeah, because I go back to the change of personality type you had.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think, because of so you agree that you can change who you are as you're just evolving.
Mm-hmm.
If you hadn't gone through that, what you went through, when you're searching for something, and then if it was the Bible, if it was, Judaism, could it have been anything? Is what I'm saying, and it just so happened you could have had a powerful verse from anything.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Because of the state you were in, because of the personality type you were at that time.
Yeah.
And then some people would say, I suppose, that the other argument would be that God found you at that point. I don't know. What do you see what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It is possible to change.
Because obviously people connect with God in different ways depending on where they're at in their life, So maybe, I don't know, maybe I would have. I mean, I think I did read the Bible one time, but I just didn't connect with it.
At the same time when you were reading the Quran?
No, this was like way before. Because we had a Bible in our house. It was actually one of my old neighbour's Bible and it was just in our house. And I'm very curious, George. I just, opened it up. I didn't really understand it. I didn't know. It didn't touch me like when I read the Quran. And it wasn't even the physical book. It was the app, But I think for me.
And you've been, so you're 21, did you say? So you're in that.
This was actually maybe a couple of years before I actually became Muslim. So this might have been, I was maybe like 19, 20. When I had that like moment, that was where the seed was planted for me. I still didn't accept Islam then because I tried to, I didn't actually finish. So when I read it, I got scared and I kind of threw my phone on the bed. I was like, no, I'm not ready for that. I knew if I was going to keep reading this, I'm going to have to change in some way. I just knew. I felt that in my heart. It's like it demanded my attention, like it was trying to tell me something. That's how it felt. It's like, I need you to hear a message. And if you turn away, like, do you not have any sense? And like, as I threw my phone, I realised I've read this verse and I've just turned away from it. So then that started messing me up. I'm like, it's like it knew what I was going to do before I did it kind of thing. That's how it felt in the moment. So that seed was planted for me. And I tried to forget about the verse that I had just read, but I just couldn't forget about it. But it still took me like 2 years to actually start looking into Islam because at that moment I just wasn't really ready to commit to a religion or anything like that. Not that I had anything against religion. I just weren't interested in it. I was one of them people who just saw myself as I'm an individual. looking at like Muslim women, I don't want to have to cover myself. You know, I don't want to look like everyone else. I'm an individual. I want to stand out.
And have you got to then or not? Then that's not a part of it.
So, well,
is that a choice?
I mean, everything is a choice, because even the verse in the Quran that mentions about the hijab, which a lot of my previous beliefs on Islam and, you know, the hijab itself, I've started to come to this conclusion that a lot of it is quite patriarchal, and a lot of men have been in control of how Islam is presented. And knowing what I know about personality type, I understand how humans can kind of, I guess, present things in a way that aligns with how they want it to be presented. And so
Manipulation.
Yeah, and obviously all of this comes from my own experience and what I went through as a Muslim. I just came to the conclusion, I realised that this is what's happened. Like, this has been presented in a way that is kind of giving a bit of control, like, I guess, controlling women in a way. Because in the verse in the Quran where it says about the hijab, it says, and let the women, you know, in terms of the head covering, cover their bosoms. It mentions about covering the bosoms, you know, like the private areas. So it says, bring the head cover and cover the bosoms. But there's no, I know at the time when the Quran was revealed, and this is just my interpretation, I'm not trying to say that this is the religion or anything, and I know people, this might be quite triggering and controversial for some people. The culture at the time, women used to cover their head. So they already had a head covering. It was the culture. And the command was to cover the bosoms. Right,
Yeah, that thing
areas.
you're already wearing, use that to do that.
Yeah, so that's now.
It wasn't a case of you've got to do that. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, again, I'm right in what I'm saying. This is the understanding that I'm at right now. And that's kind of why because I used to wear the hijab. That's why I've taken it off.
Why?
I actually didn't really want men looking at me. I got my heart severely broken, Alex, and I just didn't want men looking at me at all. I was in a very vulnerable place in my life, and when I wore the hijab, I did actually feel very honoured. That was one of the time periods in my life where I did feel very, it's weird to say, but I did feel very free. You know, I felt like I have control over whether you look at me or not, you know, and again, that's a different mindset that I was in at the time. It's because I was vulnerable and I didn't want men looking at me. I didn't want, you know, to get any attention.
It was really hard then, this heartbreak.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was pretty difficult.
Are we going there or not?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm through it. It's a waste of time. I don't even, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where that come from. And yeah, like I did develop a really deep relationship with the hijab and with my religion. I think in the beginning.
Was your sister or your mum, dad, anyone else? Just
sister.
You?
My older sister, she became Muslim in like 2004.
Before you then?
Way before me. I was 2012.
And how did she find it?
Yeah, she was married and, you know.
She married a man who was...
No, he's white from the UK. He did become Muslim. There was just, again, a lot of people becoming Muslim. So they kind of, I guess, went on the journey together. But I never got interested in Islam because of my sister. It was kind of my own personal findings and how I was connecting with it at the time. So yeah, like in the beginning, because I think the lifestyle that I lived before Islam, I had no direction in life. Like I was just directionless. I was really dumb. I used to smoke a lot of weed, like that kind of mindset, right? So there came a point where I just felt really lost, you know, and naturally, I've spoken about my personality type. We have like a freedom fixation. And if your environment that you're kind of raised in encourages that freedom behavior, you can go really extreme with it, right? So before religion, I had like this extreme freedom seeking behavior, which left me no substance, no kind of anchoring, no grounding. And I just felt
Isn't that
so
just youth?
lost.
Isn't that just being youthful?
I think it's one-sided behavior. But again, because, you know, it depends on the, you know, the country
you beating
live in.
yourself up unnecessarily. You're just having a free youth.
But no,
it's normal.
but because of how it made me feel, like I just felt lost.
Empty.
Yeah, I felt empty. So I started looking for some structure and I stumbled across Islam. And it weren't even just the structure that it provided me with. It was the message, like I'm not sure if you know much about the religion of Islam.
A little bit. I've got a very good friend in Nottingham. Hi, Saj, who always lectures me about it.
The foundation of Islam is to worship one God, and that there's been prophets and messengers sent to mankind to, you know, save them from worshipping false idols like money, because naturally humans want to devote themselves to something, and everything in this world is temporary. So the message itself, like the foundation of what we call Tawheed, the worship of one God, and to, you know, denounce any false gods, any false worship, that for me really made a lot of sense. It was very simple. And I just connected with that because as much as I can be quite a complicated person, the simplicity of that message was like, everybody could understand this. Like even my child could understand this. You know, being created, we must have been created for a purpose, right? So, but that's another topic. Yeah. And so like when I then become religious, I went to the complete opposite extreme of becoming very structured. Like I was...
And you're single at this point still?
Sorry?
You're single at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning. So when oh gosh, yeah, I'm gonna go there.
No,
So, yeah. No, I'll get into that. I've lost my train of thought again.
Because you got children, haven't you?
I've got 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to get a timeline in my head. This is before
okay.
kids or everything. This is. Isn't
I'm
it?
like the worst person to get any timelines from. I have
Oh,
no
no,
sense of
I'm just trying to figure
timelines.
it out.
Yeah.
So this is after the heartbreak, and this is before
So-
children, or anything, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like this
okay.
is like this is like the transition into Islam now. When I found that structure and that message and everything was kind of resonating with me, I thought, yeah, this is what I'm here for. I'm here to serve God. I went extreme with that kind of view, and I think the reason what
And
fed
that's down
into
to
that.
personality type, then.
No, what fed into that was the people within my proximity who I was exposed to. There was a mosque, which we call a masjid at the time, and it was what I was told was the only mosque that were upon the right Islam. And
What does that mean? Sorry.
so there's many sects in all religions. Humans by nature, they like to change things and alter things. There's a lot of sects in, religion, all religions, including Islam. And there's this one mosque that I was kind of close to who used to call to, we're upon the correct understanding of Islam. And they made it seem very it was convincing because they did have kind of sources and references for all of the knowledge that they teach. Like they, kind of stem it back from the sources and the companions and when Islam was first revealed.
When they're saying this, they're saying, so that one that's doing it in Birmingham or Edinburgh, they're wrong and we're right.
And this developed an extreme ego in me, right? You wouldn't have liked me 10 years ago.
Really?
Because you would not have liked me. I was like so critical, so judgmental. And it weren't even the religion. It was because I had a heartbreak. Didn't want to go through that again. So I kind of
Protective layers.
It was protection.
And
like
you wore Islam as a shield to
literally,
protect you, sort of thing.
Literally.
Yeah.
It was like my safe haven. So anyone who came around me who even in the slightest bit kind of reminded me of my past, I just didn't want anything to do with it. I cut off all my friends. I feel terrible for the way that I kind of just transitioned and just kind of went AWOL and didn't explain myself to anyone. I guess I didn't really know how to do it at the time because I was going through a different life transition and it was all new to me and I didn't really know how to communicate that to people. But yeah, the people that I got exposed to first, in the beginning, it wasn't so bad. It was like a progressive kind of isolating me away from my family, making me think that,
Really?
that's kind of it weren't like a physical.
Well, you can't talk to them
it was
because
psychological,
they're not Muslim, you mean, like that?
So that's kind of the mentality, yeah. That's how I was taught
Isn't
by
that?
these people, yeah. Don't get me wrong, because I have to be fair, I'm very fair. There is a lot of things that they used to teach me that I do believe there's a lot of goodness in it. I don't think anyone's entirely evil, but there was something sinister going on that I couldn't see at the time, which was like me, my whole perception being warped by these people. And because I was vulnerable, it was very easy for me to...
They smelt that vulnerability then?
I believe so. And I'm also quite like logical in my thinking. You wouldn't think it because I, got very easily led into a cult, I believe is a cult. Many other people have agreed with me.
We're using that word?
Yeah.
Cult?
Yeah. 100%.
Just in that one mosque, this is then?
Yeah, because so I would go quite regularly. Every single Friday we have like congregational prayers and they do a sermon. So every single Friday without fail, they would repeat and repeat. There was another mosque around the corner from the, where we were. They would say, don't go over here. They're misguided. They're going to lead you to the hellfire. It was all fear driven.
No way.
Like it was repetitive,
I never knew
repetitive.
That. I thought everyone was singing off the same hymn sheet.
No. And yeah, there's, again, everybody has like, I think this is why there's so many sects in religion because people...
I had a business partner, he doesn't watch my podcast, but Farouk, hi. And he told me once that the only bit I know is that the Quran from Muhammad is different to the Quran written by a guy who was with Muhammad and stuff like that. That's all I know. But generally, I thought, because I'm sure, I don't really know whether Christianity and Catholicism suffer the same thing. Do the Catholic Church say,
I don't really
ignore
know.
that church because this church is... Does it work?
That's
Do you
true.
know what I'm saying? Is it the same?
I don't really hear that.
Because what I don't want this to be about is, because I know there's a lot of negativity around Islam anyway. So I didn't want it to be, do you know if that happens in other churches and stuff as well or not?
I don't really see it.
No.
I think because...
I never knew that. I never knew that they go, come to our mosque. Is that can't be for money. Why? What's the motivation to say, oh, don't go to that mosque, come to this mosque? Because that must happen. That must happen everywhere, not just in your area.
Do you know what? I've actually figured out what it is. It's not because of the religion. Yes.
Really?
It's ego driven. That's what it is. It's not this is not what the religion calls to. It's not, just, it's not about
Is
division.
that still going, this place?
Yeah, and they've recruited a whole new bunch of young people that are
it's
basically
still-
reliving the same cycles.
You're joking.
But I haven't even gotten to like the juicy part yet. So
Sorry, yeah, no, sorry.
yeah, there's a lot. And
So you're, go on, so Friday
No, go
sermon, and go on, carry on, it was me, it's my fault, I interrupted
where
you.
did I get to?
Friday sermon, every Friday.
Oh yeah, so they would basically just kind of drill into our heads that, you know, you will be saved if you're with us.
Yeah, not that moss round there.
Not that
yeah.
moss round there, not round there. Like, no, don't listen to anyone online, just listen to us. So I became very kind of closed-minded. Like you can imagine, that was my whole reality because I was so loyal to these people because I genuinely believe, I used to put these people on a pedestal. You know, I really thought, oh my gosh, I need to be like you. Because that was my perception. It's like, I would see a Muslim dressed in a thobe, have a beard, a woman in a hijab, and I think I need to be like you because like you represent, you know, purity and God consciousness. And like, for me, that was what I wanted to be. I wanted to please God. So I had pure intentions, you know, and what I started to realize many, many years later is that it's an image. Like and this is not the case for everyone. This is just my experience, and I have to just make that clear. Because I kind of rebel against image naturally, against kind of conformity and all that sort of stuff, even though I was very deeply following it for so many years. But it was through that process that I started to see just how toxic it was. I think if I didn't experience that, I wouldn't have the insight that I have now. You know, being close with some very, like, you know, very well-known Muslims that what we call give dawah, they call the people to the religion, they have a lot of knowledge on the religion. There is this awareness around how people are being perceived in Islam, and they worry about the judgments of other people. So they have to put on the mask, right? The human mask, they have to put on a mask. But, you know, behind closed doors, they're beautiful, like they're beautiful people. Like you just be yourself, you know, and this is what I started to see is that I know you behind closed doors, but in the congregation of Muslims, why do we have to act different? Like, why do we have to be so cautious of, you know, not showing your feet in the prayer or, you know, like just the normal typical sins that we do? There's such, you know, shame and fear around it that you're going to be judged by the collective. And I think that also comes from having to maintain an image of Islam collectively, because a lot of Muslims, they do believe that how we portray Islam is how the religion's going to be perceived, which is true in some sense. But then it puts a lot of pressure on people to then, you know, it kind of suppresses their own nature and their, like, you know, the beautiful qualities and quirks about who they are as an individual. I think when you're operating as a collective, yeah, you definitely lose yourself internally. And that's what I think happened to me.
No, so where does, how can we use the word cult then? What makes it cultish?
Simply just because of the rhetoric of stay with us, you know, this one
How did you get
mosque.
out then?
Very interesting, actually. Personality type. So basically, right, my friend introduced me to personality type, a Muslim girl, back in 2013 or something like that.
Was she at the same mosque as you then? No.
Yeah, we were
The
all
same
very,
mosque?
very close. And I have to also say, this was one of the most beautiful times in my life, right? I think me going through my religious experience, I feel like I'm painting it in quite a negative light, but I really connected with God, I feel like really deeply in that period of my life. And I made some really close friendships and I care about them so much. So I have a lot of good memories, but there is also a bit of trauma there. But my friend back in 2013, she just told me about the 16 personality types. At the time, I just thought it was interesting, right? But I didn't really go look into it. And then later on, when I started to feel a bit disoriented, and this came after, I missed a bit here, but this came after the whole having children and being coerced into a marriage and stuff like that, which...
Yeah, go back then. Go back to that bit then. Yeah, go back to that bit then. The timeline jump. So you've met the partner of your children?
No.
No.
So I became Muslim. Oh gosh. So I've got to try and make this make sense now, because I want to make sure that I kind of relay this in a way that people can understand, because my timelines are all distorted in my mind. September 2012, I became Muslim. About 3 months after, because I got, again, quite close to that mosque that I was associating with, I became quite well known because I was really, you know, practicing my religion. I was really loyal. So I got a bit of a reputation for being very, and they only popped me up because I was like in alignment with their own agenda, which I can see now, I couldn't see then.
Propaganda.
Basically. And so 3 months into becoming Muslim, I'm still finding myself. I honestly have no idea who I am. I don't know, haven't established myself as a Muslim. I'm still kind of brokenhearted, just trying to like rebuild myself, and religion was helping me do that. However, there were people like who are higher up in the masjid is mosque. They was, you know, coming to me trying to bring proposals like, this brother's really interested in you. I weren't interested. Like I was still kind of
got over heartbreak,
kind of thing. However, I was so dumb back then. I genuinely thought this is just what we have to do as Muslims. You know, I thought we can't have boyfriends, girlfriends. We have to get married. You know, this is a sign of purity and it's going to help you get closer to God. That's kind of how it was painted for me. And so I saw marriage as this is going to get me closer to God. And so it was, you know, marriage is a heart-based decision, right? It's not a head-based decision. But back then, I was looking at marriage very much from my head, not from my heart. And again, it was all the fear and everything and trying to not experience what I experienced before. I thought if I go about it this time, if I go about it this way this time, I'm not going to experience the heartbreak again. And so, yeah, my whole perception on marriage was like, it's just part of being Muslim, which is the complete wrong perception. And people were kind of feeding that by telling me, you know, there's a brother who's interested in you. I had no interest whatsoever. But yeah, at the time, I just thought I just had to do it. So, and I did actually mention to my friend at the time who she kind of knew I weren't interested. The imam, who's the leader of the mosque, his wife kept getting on to me about it as well. I just had all these voices around me.
What was Mum and Dad saying at the time? Or have you...
See, the thing is, like, I didn't trust their advice because they weren't Muslim. This was the mindset they built in me. It's like, yeah, it's very, very toxic. Like, the people who care about me the most, I saw them as like, I need to be wary of you, you know, because you're not going to get me closer to God. That's the kind of mindset that was built in me. So I didn't go to my parents for advice. Like, even my dad, when he found out I was getting married, he was brokenhearted because I just changed as a person so much. I was someone completely entirely different.
Lost you.
Yeah, and I understand now, and I didn't understand back then. So yeah, a couple of voices just kind of
on you.
Yeah. To the point where I said, okay, look, I'll have a meeting with him. I'll meet him, and yeah, it was the mindset of if I do this for the sake of God, this is going to work out, kind of thing.
It's God's plan.
Yeah.
And all that.
So it weren't like it wasn't an autonomous decision. It was kind of the decision to get married was built based upon the perception I had at the time, just on life, on my reality, not even my reality, but reality itself. It was completely not a realistic decision because my whole perception on reality was warped. So I can see that now, you know, choosing to get married. I wasn't attracted to him, you know, no disrespect. Like, I feel terrible saying that, but I knew he wasn't my type.
Because your personality type, I
need to be very direct.
Yeah, but it's not just, I suppose, it's their energy and their face, everything, isn't it?
Oh
it's
my
not
gosh,
just,
what somebody represents. But even back then, because I hadn't really discovered myself back then, you know, as much as I have now. But I just knew something inside me wasn't aligning with this person. But I thought everything's for the sake of God. This life is irrelevant. Everything, you know, we're going to die one day. That's it. Like, we don't even need to attach ourselves to anything in this life. I can get through a marriage. Just, you know, it's just temporary. Life's going to end. So yeah, that's how I was.
My friend I was telling you about, he prays 5 times a day.
Yeah.
He's got his own business. He's got 2 wives, 2 kids. He helps wash the bodies at the mosque. I'm like, you ain't got time for anything. He goes, yeah, I don't care because I'm just preparing for death. And I can't get my head around that. I mean, what's the point being here then? Do you know what I mean?
That's the mindset I had.
Yeah.
And it was very, Alex, it's so easy to, when you're focused on the afterlife, which I'm still conscious of that. I believe in an afterlife. I believe that I'm going to be, you know, I believe in the day of judgment. I believe in all these things, but it's my own belief now and how I've come to conclusions based upon my own, you know, evaluations of things, not somebody else's inherent narratives kind of dictating what I should and shouldn't do. Like, this is all mine now. I believe in Judgment Day. Because it just all makes sense to me. Judgment Day as in like the earth or you personally, sorry? That everybody will be judged for their actions. On the deeds that they've done in this world. So I do believe that. And how strict are you on them deeds? So this is the thing now. This wasn't going to go into. If you had a little bit of a wobble and thought, do you know what? I'm really just bang out some whiskey. Is that it now? No, because God is all forgiving. And this is one of the main things that Islam promotes, is that God is the most merciful. But again, it does get misconstrued. Like, Islam is one of the most misunderstood religions because Muslims, they portray it in the wrong way. It's our fault. It's not like people's fault. It's the Muslims' fault. I think what you said today is the most crucial bit of information, which I didn't know either. What's that? That each mosques have got their own... Oh, really? Yeah, I just thought they just all... Well... Everyone just said, you know, like, if I walked into a Catholic church in my village in Italy where I'm from, or went to the one in Crewe, they more or less telling me the same thing. Okay, so I just assumed I think on the surface, it was the same. Yeah. Yeah, like on the surface, it looks like that because we all say Salaam Alaikum and, you know, all praying for each other, we're praying together. But there are different ideologies within Islam. Like, you have the Khawarij, for example. They believe that, you know, they're just this very extreme, like ISIS kind of vibe. ISIS vibe. Yeah. And yeah, there's like different sects. I don't really know. So the people that are, I mean, I don't like the term right wing, left wing and all that sort of thing, but say the people that are basically saying that
they'll say statistics out there. 90% of all the terrorism is from under the banner of Islam and this, that, the other. So why isn't the Muslim community, do you want to say Islam community or Muslim community? How would I word that?
I'd say Muslim.
So why doesn't the Muslim community come out and say, there's a load of different sects and that one's there. So we agree with you, they're no good, are they? How come we don't hear that bit?
So
see what I mean?
I think it's their approach.
Because most people who are don't know anything about it, or they're just going to assume it's all Muslims.
Yeah.
The whole of Islam.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of crucial information. Why isn't that information out there enough then?
It is out there, but I think people need to know where to go to find it, because we've had, teachers, they've been, like, even in the times of like bin Laden, like that something happened where there were Muslims advocating against it, like don't let bin Laden into the country because he actually is from that sect I mentioned, from the Khawarij, who they don't have any mercy, to be fair. They let him come. Or was it in America? I think it was America, sorry, not England.
American, yeah.
It was in America. So they didn't listen to the Muslims' advice because, the Muslims, they had this insight and they know the characteristics of these people, but they let him come anyway and he caused corruption. And then I guess that was something to, paint Islam in a negative light about. So there are people out there, they have a lot of knowledge, they know the sects in and out, but people just don't know where to go to find the information. Like there's so much available.
That would really help with...
Yeah.
With the tensions in England, for example, wouldn't it? If the authorities knew and said, well, we know that sect's bad, so we're going to be all over that one. And you see what I mean?
Do you know what, though? It's so hard to see an ideology because it's internal.
And then we don't know until it's too late and something's happened.
Yeah, basically. So that's why it's just so hard. But there is a brother.
So shouldn't the Muslim community be helping find them out as well then, for their own sake?
We do... do you know Speaker's Corner? You heard of Speaker's Corner? So there's a brother called Shamsi. He's very well known. Shamsi, he has so much knowledge and he really talks about like Islam, in its true essence, not out of context, not, from the lens of whatever lenses are out there. But he, goes to Speaker's Corner, has many conversations with all kinds of people and he gives the knowledge. He talks about the bin Ladens and the whoever else is.
He's honest about it.
And, so, the information is out there.
Because it seems to be the lack of self-criticism which causes the problem, doesn't it? I suppose, or the lack of when you see these things.
In the Muslims or in
the...
100%.
Yeah, that's what causes the problems, I think.
This is why I think...
See, I wouldn't say that you... Or, in fact, like this is part of my friend Mike, because I know he starts to make me laugh. But anyway, is that you wouldn't see yourself as above me, would you?
No, not anymore. I would have before.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
okay.
I can tell now.
Yeah.
But one thing, I would never... If you said to me, I'd be shocked if you went, oh, I'm above you because you're not Muslim. I'd be dead shocked. So, that's not the meaning I've just met and wanted to talk to.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
I wouldn't say it, but I would be thinking it.
Yeah.
And that's
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, not now.
And do you know what's interesting?
Not now.
No, not now. No, absolutely.
We're equal.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, we're equal.
We're
In
equal.
your eyes,
100%,
we're equal. Yeah.
You're just a little bit taller than me. That's all. But that whole mindset, again, what's interesting about that is this is one of the worst sins in Islam is arrogance and pride and thinking that you're above people, because this was one of the first sins of the devil, of shaitan. The story I don't want to go into because I don't want to start preaching here, but there is a story when God created the first man, Adam, and commanded the angels to bow in, respect for the new creation, also commanded the devil, Iblis, and he refused to because apparently he was better than him. So this is a very famous term in Islam, is that, shaitan, the devil, he refused to bow to Adam out of respect for God's creation because he believed he was better than him. This is what kind of condemned the devil to the hellfire. And this is why we're not supposed to be arrogant or pride or think that you're above anyone else, because it was the first sin of the devil, And that's like a moral story. It's a very like symbolic, but you can learn lessons from it, because arrogance and pride is one of the worst traits to have. You could be like the worst person ever and think you're the best person, but because of your arrogance, you won't humble yourself, kind of thing. And it's no matter whether you're Muslim, Christian, it's just a horrible trait to have.
I agree.
And it's very recognizable when someone has it, I think. If they don't like to be corrected or if they don't listen to advice, they're just kind of strung up on their own, which I used to be. Like,
isn't that amazing that you can see that? I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's become a best trait in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I wonder, like, how did I ever lose myself so deeply? But I can see now from the perspective I have now, like, I needed to lose myself so that I could see just how lost I was and find myself, kind of thing. And it's honestly, like, in the weirdest way, kind of the best thing that ever happened to me, because now it's giving me, like, drive to help other people because I think through the like contingent circumstances and passing time, we don't like we get born into a certain environment. And you speak about this quite a lot on your podcast. You know, we're born into an environment. There's demands, there's expectations, there's cultures, and it kind of shapes you into just what the outside world wants you to be, and it disconnects you from your, like what I mentioned in the beginning, your internal kind of biological behavior. And that's actually, I believe, is what kind of brings out your best qualities, because it's how you're supposed to function. So when you're in alignment with how you naturally function, it feels good, and so it looks good on the surface as well, you know.
But I think the society, unfortunately, judge people, and no, the fear is fear. People are scared to be themselves truly, and the fear of judgment, the fear of what people think of them, and that's what stops that light coming out a bit, really.
I agree, yeah.
Which is a shame.
And I think...
Because nobody cares, really. They just get about their own day.
Some people actually do.
Yes,
some people do. Because
Yeah.
the book I showed you earlier on, there's two opposite ways of approaching goals. And you have like affiliative people who want to not approach goals, but what's the word? Attain goals.
Yeah.
So attaining goals through affiliation, which is like working with other people, like, you know, kind of conforming to social norms. And then you have like pragmatic people who will literally just do whatever the heck they need to do to get the job done. And they will go against like this. They kind of combat with each other because one wants to affiliate with people. So they're kind of more likely to fall into groupthink and collectivism and not really thinking for yourself, because they're always considering, oh, how's this person going to be affected and that person? So they have a very kind of, affiliative mindset where they want harmony and efficiency and effectiveness. And then the other ones, they know what they want to do. Like, it's more individualistic thinking, but it might kind of disrupt the group harmony. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the old fable, the emperor with no clothes on. So this actually is a good example because the emperor with no clothes on, obviously this emperor, thinks he's bought this new outfit. He's actually naked. He's walking around town.
Sycophants, whatever the word is, isn't he? Yeah, like yes men, yeah.
What, the emperor with no clothes on? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you look fantastic.
Yeah, literally. And so like he goes out without his clothes on, and the collective group, because they don't want to feel stupid, or they don't want to like, you know, look like they're not aligning with the group. They don't want to also embarrass him. So out of fear of, again, fear, it's just fear. They all like kind of, his delusion, they're feeding it, you know, but then there's a little child who says, no, you're not wearing any clothes.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
You're not wearing any clothes. So like, that's like the affiliative versus the pragmatic. It's like, no, there's a truth that needs to be like said here. Like, you're not wearing any clothes, and that needs to be known because you're literally humiliating yourself. Everyone else is kind of feeding the, you know, just trying to keep him comfortable. And
have you seen the experiment they did when they had a row of people, and they said, right, and there's like 6 actors and 1 real person.
Yeah.
And they put something on the board, and there's 2 lengths or something, and one's clearly slightly longer than the other one. Yeah. And they said, and they go down and they say, which one is the shortest one? And they all pick the other one. Yeah, the wrong answer. And he gets to this person, and he goes with them, even though it's clear.
Wow.
I've
seen one like that.
Similar
where
like
they're
that,
all like sitting on chairs.
And that one where everyone
stands
stands up when it beeps.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. And it's just, I'm definitely the other person. I cannot.
Same.
Cannot
I'm a
follow
pragmatic,
it.
and it's
I have to look at it myself, like you say. You have to look at it.
Yeah.
But you've developed that, haven't you?
Absolutely. I think I've always had it. It was just suppressed, you know, because again, I think that's part of my biological nature.
Did you get the jab?
No, absolutely not. No.
And where was you at that point? Was you in the cult? Sounds a weird thing to say, but was you at that mosque in Reading?
2020. It's 2020, isn't it? Yeah.
Where was you then in your time? In your life?
I was kind of like, again, I was getting a bit more deeper into. I just realised something I hadn't clarified from earlier on, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, I was kind of like finding myself again at this point.
So this is COVID now.
Yeah, COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. So were still at the mosque in Reading?
Yeah, I was actually.
So was it
not all the time though, because I had children. I was really, really busy. And
was it them that said don't take it?
No,
it was you.
No,
yourself.
I decided. Yeah, I just because I'm naturally, if I've always been the kind of person that if everyone's doing something, I don't want to do it, kind of thing. But it's so funny how that kind of disappeared when I was in my religion, like really deep religious days.
I think you were very I think you've got it right. You were that vulnerable and that hurt and that upset.
Yeah, that
you weren't thinking straight. But then it's helped you find God in the right way in the end, hasn't it?
Like my sister said to me, like, you're now at the healthiest and most balanced you've ever been, because she's obviously seen me go through all different emotions and how like wild and completely chaotic I was before. There's still a bit of that. And then how I just became totally opposite.
And now you started a podcast in Cheshire.
Yeah. And I would have never sat with a man who's not related to me. Like back in those days, I
Oh,
never
yeah,
would have done that.
Yeah, I forgot about that
Yeah,
side
I
of
never
it.
would have done that.
No.
So
So,
it's
I'm going to take it back again, sorry.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
want to know how. So you've been put with a guy that you're not attracted to, but you think is the right thing to do to be closer to God. So is he the father of the children?
yeah.
Okay. So go on and go from there then.
So
please.
yeah,
Well,
so
that's okay.
because
I'm
that's
not
what I was
just
gonna.
telling you.
Yeah, that's actually what I was gonna clarify. So yeah, I had a lot of influences and voices saying that this is what you should do. This is gonna make you a better Muslim, and that for me was what made it attractive. Again, I wasn't using my heart; I was using my head. I knew in my heart something didn't feel right about this, and I knew I didn't actually want to be with this guy. But for some reason, my brain gaslit my heart and just made me kind of block all of that out because I thought this is what's going to get me closer to God. That's all I'm really concerned about. So we ended up, getting married, and children came pretty quickly after that. I think within the first 3 months, I fell pregnant. So like,
What age are you now? Sorry.
I was 22. And then when my daughter was born in 2014, because this was, when I got married, it was 2013. My daughter was born in 2014. And then her dad was accepted into a university in a different country in Saudi Arabia to go study the religion. And that was what he wanted to do. That was his dream. So obviously he was really happy about that. But then he had to go into a different country. And I was kind of left on my own with a new child.
Was you working at the time?
No. No.
Was you
Because I
allowed
was-
to work?
Well, I was convinced, and I was kind of convinced that women should remain in the home. And I do think there's a beauty in that. I have to be fair. Like, I think women raising children in their homes, focusing on their child's like development
It's that
and being
biology
present.
and like vibe thing again, isn't it? It's,
yeah, like the difference between men and women, and women are just more kind of present and adaptable and like to the needs of
Patience.
the children, patient. So for me, I absolutely don't, disagree that women, it's a beautiful
Well, I mean,
thing.
how was you earning is what I was getting at. He's gone.
So I was actually I was seeking benefits because I was always a working girl. I was always and I love working. But yeah, when I became Muslim and I became a mother, my children's father, he said, well, you go on benefits and I'll work, kind of thing, which is not because men should be providing for the woman. And so, yeah, I was basically spending my money on the bills and having to ask him for, I need this, I need that kind of thing. So I was very like vulnerable even in that situation where I had to depend on someone else for my needs, like my basic needs. And yeah, it's like, it just didn't align with me as a person. Like I have always been independent. And I honestly, thinking back now, I can see how it happened because I was so vulnerable. And the reason I entered religion into the first place is because it was my safety. So again, even things that didn't align with me or kind of, like when your gut feelings just, bringing up things, it's like, oh, this doesn't feel right. I was ignoring it, so I just kept kind of going with it and trying to be patient because also the messaging of if you're finding anything difficult in life, just be patient. God will reward you. There's so many things that make you, I guess, dismiss what you actually really want and how you truly feel. So, and that's very easy to, that's just a very easy thing to happen when...
and that can happen to anybody in any situation, not just through this particular mosque, or it could be any situation where people lose themselves for a period of time or attach themselves to the wrong thing for a period of time.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because I brought a book recently called The Ideological Brain, which has been really interesting because, like you can be in an experience, but until you can step outside of the experience and look at it from a different perspective, it's like you don't realise what you was actually involved in until... It's like a fish in water, right? If you say to the fish, oh, hello, fish, what's it like to live in water? It's going to be like, what water? I don't see any water. It's submerged in the water, like it doesn't know anything else. And it's not until it was to, maybe jump out, it now recognises that it's in the water. So you can see it from that perspective. So when you're in, like, or when I was in the kind of mindset that I couldn't see it at the time, But going back to what kind of brought me out of it, which I don't think I've clarified this point in a minute, but going back to what brought me out of it, when I started studying personality, human behaviour, and I started understanding, because again, I've always thought about things in a logical way. Like I don't connect with things emotionally first. I have to go through the mind first and then the emotional connection comes afterwards. Hence why I'm so completely obsessed with, Carl Jung's work, personality type, because it's all so logical and it makes sense. And it gives me that ability to like rationalize and understand the world around me, because that's how I connect with anything, just through understanding first. So yeah, when I started looking into personality type and seeing all the variations of how humans are so different and, we learn different and then we value different things. This was not my mindset. It's like, no, we all have to value the religion in this way and we all have to act this way and, dress this way. So it's like, wow, like that was like a real kind of
It resonated.
eye-opening moment.
Like the God verse resonated, this resonated.
Yeah. So it's almost
You're you're battling now then, are you?
internal conflict, absolutely, because I still had like all the conditioning from my religion. And I say conditioning only because the way that my religion was taught to me, although I do believe there's a lot of truth in it, I still think the way it was portrayed was based upon individuals in positions of authority dictating their version of Islam and how they're practicing it to the level that they're at in their life, projecting that onto other people, expecting them to align with that in the way they align with it.
And that's why there's no one size fits all in life, is there?
Right.
Because it's so individual.
You know, even my friends will tell you that anyone who goes into that mosque and they're wearing like, I don't know, a colourful hijab, it's like, what mosque do you go to? Oh, you're a deviant. If they go to a different mosque, they're like, oh, you're a deviant. They're very wary of them. Like, there's no salaming new people. It's like, if you're not familiar to the masjid, everyone's wary of you. And this is a mindset.
That's just that one or any?
The one that I know of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't actually know of any others like this.
So you don't attend a mosque now?
No, I'm too busy with my kids and I'm loving life. And don't get me wrong, like the masjid and the congregational prayers in Ramadan, like when we're all fasting together and all that sort of stuff is beautiful because, you know, we're all starving together and like striving and, you know, repenting. Like God's all about religion's all about repentance. And, you know, I connect with my Muslims in that, like in a spiritual sense. It's not about, for me now, I'll be honest, it's not about rules. Like I'm going to mess up. I'm going to embrace the fact that I'm flawed. I don't really care what anyone thinks about that. I'm going to just be me. Mess up. My God said that if I seek repentance and seek his forgiveness, he will forgive me. So I know that I'm not perfect and I have a whole heap of stuff going on in my life that is making me fall short in aspects of religion that I would like to do better in, but due to my circumstances, I'm just struggling with and I'm embracing that struggle.
So why beat yourself up and make it even harder?
I'm so flawed and I'm so deficient. You know, I'm not above anyone. And I think for a long time, the version of my religion that I was taught, it was like, you have to be perfect kind of thing.
You pray, don't you? You said you pray.
Yeah, I pray 5 times a day, yeah.
Yeah. So how long does that take each time you pray?
So do you want to know the times of prayer? I don't know if you want to. So we pray in the morning.
Yeah, tell me roughly, go on.
We'll go pray in the morning, depending on the time of year. So at the moment, the prayer...
I'm just going to find time with 3 kids and work.
Do you know what?
That's what I was thinking. That's where I was going in my head.
Yeah, it's the tranquility I feel when I pray.
It's like a form of meditation, I suppose.
Yeah, basically. So
how long is it?
So each one is about...
Are the different times?
Maybe like 7 minutes.
All the same prayer, same time. I mean.
So we have 5 times. So like one in the before dawn. So one before the sun rises. One in the afternoon. One in the later afternoon. One in the evening, and then one at night. So 5 times a day. And just a little insight I want to share with you about the way we pray. So the morning and the evening and night prayer we recite out loud, and the afternoon prayers we recite quietly internally. And I heard someone say, I don't want to misquote what he said, but it was really interesting because it was talking about like polarities and opposites and how the morning prayer, like the prayers that we recite out loud, basically, during the moments when it's dark, when everything's quiet, if you can hear yourself outside, you can kind of focus more. And like when the prayers that we recite internally, like quietly, there's a lot of chaos kind of going outside, and you can kind of connect with it more when you recite internally because you're like focused internally. A little bit like introversion, extroversion. So like the recitation of the prayers at the times that we recite them out loud, it's like everything's still outside of you. So you project your voice outward because like to balance, to create that balance, and then vice versa. And I just thought that was so, because I never saw the prayer in that way. I never really knew why we recite loud for some and then why we recite quietly for others. But yeah, it made sense. It's like, it's like a form of balance in a way. But yeah, I love to pray.
You're obviously very intelligent and clearly well read, and so can you
not as much as I would like to be. Most of this is just
stop beating yourself up. You're clearly well read.
You do that as well sometimes.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But you're clearly well read, and you've got a really lovely open mind and everything. So you can. I can't help. I don't know why, but I should really. If I Catholicism or whatever it is, but you can't help thinking it's meditation, it's manifestation, and you keep seeing the same thing. So is it manifestation and meditation a form of religion, or is religion just that packaged differently? Do you see what I mean? Is it just, are we just hanging our hats on Christianity, on Islam, or on this, when really, as individuals, and I'm sure there is something bigger than us, I think there is, but really it's just each to their own. And if that's working for you and making you a better person, and better person for your community, brilliant.
Yeah. And, that's not something I would have agreed with many years ago, because if like in my mind, what made sense to me should make sense to everyone. There's a quote that I like, we don't see the world the way it is, we see the world the way we are, but we're never really seeing the world, we're only ever seeing it from our own perspective. And I think everyone just connects with God or higher power, whatever you refer to it, in their own way, like I said, based upon where they're at in their life. And personally for me, it was definitely, Islam, because it just makes sense to me personally, just that there's a God, we've been created, there's messengers to kind of, direct us to worshiping him rather than worshiping like money and like status, because people tend to worship these things as well. So for me, it's like the worship aspect. Where do I want to direct my worship to? And I think even the word worship has a bit of a negative connotation to it.
Especially if you're a bit rebellious and you've got that natural state about you. You think,
I don't want to worship. Like, why should I have to submit to anyone? But for me, when I think about, so my relationship with my creator, it is very deeply spiritual. It's not about rules. Like, it's more contemplations, reflections around the intricacies of creation. Like, even if I said to you, like, your nose, for example, the fact that you have like wider holes at the bottom and it goes narrow at the top. If you had like narrow holes here and wider, like, you wouldn't be able to breathe. Like your eyelashes, how they've been placed exactly where they should be so that your eyes can be protected from the dust, how your arms are formulated. Like, that's how I look at God. Like, I've been so perfectly constructed and formulated, and that wasn't me, of course. Do you know what I mean? I didn't create myself. So I connect through God by contemplating on his creation around me, like looking at just everything. And I just feel so deeply like devoted because of those things. Grateful. Yeah. Grateful is the word I think I'm looking for.
Which is a nice vibe, a nice energy to be in.
Yeah.
Do you do much? Oh, you ain't got time, have you, I suppose? So I was going to say, do you do much like for your community and things like that? Do you get involved in the community much? But with 3 kids and working, because the dad's not, can I talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
He's not about,
No, he lives in Ireland.
Yeah, so
he still has contact with his children.
Yeah, but to be by yourself, 3 kids,
it's not
working,
easy.
That's not.
It's not easy. It's like,
but to be so, bright, happy, thirsty for knowledge, grateful.
To be fair,
it's good, fantastic qualities, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess so. But I think since this podcast is called the Human Mask podcast, I think maybe I should admit that I do like to hide behind intellectualism. That's a mask for me. Like, there's probably things that...
To what? To not in an ego way?
No, it's more like to handle my...
Or...
No, it's more to mask my emotions. Like, if I get upset about something, I'll maybe just throw a joke out there, just try and make it lighthearted kind of thing. Because my relationship with my emotions, it takes me a lot of time to kind of process how I even feel about certain things.
So you don't process it, you go and analyse them, you mean?
Yes. And it just annoys me that I do that.
Yeah, instead of just letting yourself cry or whatever.
I will let myself... It's in the privacy of my own home. But the things that I cry about are not really things I should be crying about in a way that, like, if someone... Like, somebody could wrong me and I won't even react. Like, if you wrong someone I care about, I'm probably more defensive over other people than I am myself. And I think that gives people the wrong impression that you can walk over me, but they can't. But it's like, I don't actually feel emotionally affected by it until like maybe 5 years later, which is just backwards, So it's a bit of a struggle to kind of...
You're burying things, aren't you, in a way?
I don't actually know if I... Because like...
And then it's coming back up.
Yeah, people are kind of shocked as to why I don't get affected. Because you say about you're so happy but... It's this process that I have where my emotions, I don't feel like I process them in like a normal, typical way most women do.
So what, if you don't have to go there if you don't want to, but what emotions are you suppressing?
Anger. Maybe I should be more angry than I am, I think.
You haven't got to be angry. What are you angry about?
Maybe...
You can be angry, obviously, but what are you angry about?
I think I don't think I'm angry enough about how people kind of got into my head and basically made me live a life that I never wanted for myself and never wanted for my kids. Like, I believe my kids deserve better than what I'm able to provide them, huh?
You've righted that. That's not you're not living that life anymore, are you? You mean?
No, I'm still living it. Very much so.
What do you mean?
So not having like the financial, like,
being able you mean hardship?
We're
in this hardship because of that.
Basically.
I see what you're saying now.
And
I'd love to give my kids more or do this, and I can't because it's because of this this past situation.
Exactly. And even my children having a stable family. There's stuff that I actually
that have been taken away from them. So it's for the kids, you mean?
Yeah, I guess so. That I should be more angry than I display or actually externalize. And I don't know why that is. It's like everyone, because on the surface it looks like I'm handling it, but maybe I am burying it. Maybe because if I didn't, I might do something I regret. Maybe, I don't know. But I think that's what it is. You know, people get.
What was God's plan there? So why?
In terms of what?
For you to be in this situation, your children to be in this situation.
Oh, so this is what I have thought about this. I think knowing myself now, I know I have a tendency to not listen to people, right? I think I like to analyze things myself, and I think if I had free reign to do whatever I wanted to do, having my freedom taken away from me, I think is what I needed to ground me. Having to live a life that I
know what you don't want.
To know what I don't want as well, but also just to give me more of like a realistic understanding of who I actually am. And, because again, if you're led into a cult, clearly you don't know yourself. And I don't know if I would have ever woken up from that, like this state of just being like not really having any substance, not having any direction, all that sort of stuff. I don't know if I would have maybe gotten out of that if I hadn't gone into this life of Islam, gone through what I've gone through. And now I feel like right today, again, I think I have the most healthiest mindset I've ever had in terms of understanding myself, knowing my boundaries. There's an analogy that I like actually about boundaries, because I never had any before. I didn't even know where they were. I don't know other people's boundaries. I don't know my own boundaries. But boundaries are important because we are basically made up of cells, aren't we? And if you look at a cell, they have a membrane, right? And that membrane, it acts like a filter, this is so interesting. That filter, it doesn't block things out. It absorbs what's going to help it grow, what's going to, be nutritious to it and benefit it. And then it blocks out the toxins of what's going to help, make it die. And the fact that even cells have boundaries, I think that should indicate that I should know and have some boundaries.
We are just one big cell.
Yeah. But, I think...
Do you think religion, not just Islam, any religion, do you think it can stop people fully experiencing themselves and fully, see what I mean? If it's used too much as a crutch, religion, or too much as a moral crutch, even whatever. This is how you must behave. Does that not stop people being themselves fully? Because they've got that
How much
fear.
time have we got left?
Do you know what I mean? Though.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking there might be something within a soul, or looking at your emotions you want to deal with, or anger, whatever it is, and it just I can't. Catholicism, Islam, I can't. And isn't that still a stifling thing?
Yeah.
See what I mean? Because
I see exactly.
I'm like you, but in a much stronger way. The thought that I've got to do that, I've got to do 5 times a day, I've got to go to the church on a Sunday, that just fries my brain. I can't do it. I have to be completely free. Completely free. It scares me to think that I've got to be anything other than going with that flow of being me.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think religion sometimes, while it's good, because if it's helping you be a better person, if it's helping your children, your community, then okay, great, here's what it is, you go do you, that's fine. But if your purpose is to self-explore more and to be more and to be you, could it not, I'm not about you personally,
no,
it could be you
so
personally, or it could be you
this.
personally, it could not be you personally, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, doesn't that still curtail you a little bit?
I'm so glad you brought this up, because I would have completely forgot that I wanted to go into this.
I didn't know you wanted to go into it.
Yeah, you're literally bringing
it sounds like we pre-planned something.
Yeah,
I know. We didn't. No,
absolutely haven't. There's things I've been thinking about that I want to kind of bring up and talk about.
Oh, that's good. That's vibing. That isn't
literally,
it? That is good.
What do they call it? Telepathic.
Yeah, that was good then.
So yeah.
That's mad. I'm surprised. Freaked me out a little bit. Go on.
That keeps happening as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in terms of
did I explain it properly then?
I know exactly what as chaotic as it was.
Cheers.
I'm following your thought process. I think the extroverted intuition, which I think you might have. So there's a verse in my holy book. So I can't really speak for other religions because I don't have the knowledge and I don't like to speak with.
I don't think there's that much difference between them, really.
I think the source is the same.
Yeah.
But there is a verse in the Quran that says that basically God gave everything its form and nature and then guided it. And I looked into what's the interpretation of this? What does it mean? And when you look at everything, it has a nature, right? And personality type explains this. Even the temperament of animals, a fox has a certain temperament and nature, and it's been guided with a certain intelligence to fulfill its needs and carry out tasks that it needs to survive. Humans also have that. If God just wanted us to be all the same and just be restricted and not express ourselves authentically, he would not have created us with all these different temperaments that are literally, it's our biology, So I think there's been a certain representation of Islam that has come from a specific mindset that's been in authority and have portrayed the religion that way, when I don't think that's actually what the religion is. But because people get put in these positions and they become the person that other people go to, that's how the religion becomes understood as that thing, when that's not even, like, Islam is so deep. Like, the depths of this religion, I think, is so misunderstood, and people don't know the spiritual side of it, you know, how it deals with, like, the heart and, you know, just, like, balance and tranquility and, you know, obviously maintaining that spiritual connection with your source, your creator, protecting you from getting too attached to things in this life that are going to break your heart and make you maybe do some questionable things. It's all about discipline, and that's why we fast in Ramadan. It's like, not even just for the spiritual aspect, but fasting, it kind of rebuilds all the tissues and takes out the toxins. There's so many things that us as humans, we wouldn't know how to achieve these things had it not been for, like, divine inspiration. Like, because naturally we want to do what we want to do, and, you know, again, that's part of that's, you know, a trait of a human.
That was a really good point. That was, he wouldn't have put it inside you if that's not what he wanted.
Exactly.
So, like, if, say, after you've got a high on this podcast, and you're on the train back home and you go, do you know what, I'm going to do it, and then you have a little bit of whiskey or something.
Yeah.
Just, you don't know why you did it. You just had that human urge to just do something to get
Very
a dopamine
human.
to get a dopamine hit, I suppose. Because some people chase dopamine hits. Then if they have something that's a dopamine hit, they want another little dopamine hit.
Yeah.
But you haven't gone and become an alcoholic.
Yeah.
There's no need to beat yourself up. You
And
just a
even
little.
if, like,
So that's okay? You're saying, aren't you?
No, I mean, I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah, no. But what if you did? It's not. If you decided.
I mean, because again, I think alcohol, it kind of distorts the brain's functioning. I don't think it allows you to, because we see.
Yeah, bad example. What I mean is, if you did
So
something.
I'm being too pedantic.
No,
now, aren't I?
yeah. Which alcohol was it?
Yeah.
No, you're not. What I mean is, you're allowed to
mess up,
make
up, mistakes.
Through, because it seems to be most religions limit desire. They seem to curtail desire in humans, and if you have a desire to do something, you shouldn't be doing it. See what I'm saying? But if that desire breaks and you do it, is that a big deal?
Well, no, because the fact
he's
that
made you
humans
put it
can
in
do
you to have that desire.
Maybe you're going to learn something from that experience of whatever desire you've gone towards. You might learn something from it, whether that's, you know, positive, negative, and even in the negative, I think is sometimes even more of a lesson than the positive things that we learn in life. So this is why I just don't judge people on what they do, because we don't know what people's actions, what insights and realities and, you know, awareness that's going to lead them to. So again, I think, well, from my perspective, this is why God's the most merciful and he forgives, because we are flawed. And if we weren't supposed to be flawed, and if we weren't supposed to, you know, do these desirable things we want to do, he would not have created us that way, you know. And again,
that's a great point, you know.
Yeah, everyone's at
any
different
religion,
levels. Yeah.
It's a great point.
But I think, again, it just goes back to how authority, the standards that authority place on people, because they have this responsibility. And I think they feel a lot of pressure to save people. So then people who, you know, new religious people, for example, they're going to look to them as guidance. Oh my gosh, you know, I'm learning this religion and you obviously have a lot of knowledge. They go to them and that person is going to teach them their religion based on their own experiences, based on their own kind of understanding. Because again, we all process information differently. I believe religion, you know, all the Abrahamic religions, they have like the same source. But humans, we can't help the fact that we speak a certain way or that we translate information in a certain way. You know what I mean? Like two Muslims could be talking about the same topic. They're going to derive very different things from that same topic. You know, like, for example, there's a hadith. A hadith is a tradition of our prophet, things that he mentioned, you know, when he was alive. He said that people are like ores, and I've built a whole framework on this. It's really, really interesting. It's like how I take people through a self-discovery process. So he said people are like ores of precious metals like gold and silver. Now think, do you know what an ore is? Or like kids play Minecraft.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking in my head.
So an ore is obviously like this rock, what looks like really insignificant rock buried in the ground. Why would he say we're like ores? Like why do you think, actually, I want to hear your perspective.
Who said that?
Sorry, the Prophet of Islam.
It's him who said that.
So
okay,
he's talking about people, like the nature of people. And I was actually talking about how two people could perceive this differently. Like I derive something completely different from this that somebody else might derive from it. But why do you think, like, you know, somebody
I
would
knew
be
you
like...
wouldn't forget to ask me. Go on, say
well, you was okay.
No, go on,
you don't have
to...
No,
I was too busy listening to you.
No,
I was too busy listening to you. Go on.
So like, when you look at an ore... Oh, are you going to answer?
No, go on. I'm just concentrating on now flipping it round to where I'm going to be asked something.
Okay.
So I was in listening mode and interested.
Oh, okay.
But then you asked me a question.
Yeah.
Go on. So you speak. Go on.
Ores, people are like ores. Like if you're looking at an ore, right, unrefined, like a diamond, right, how it starts. And then a person, what's the connection? Because you can see these two completely different things. What is the connection point there? How are we like them? Like, what would you say?
So how we're like ore.
How people are like ores, yeah. It's not easy to like answer.
No, it's not. I'm thinking because it's like an obviously sort of answer, isn't it? Like the way it's the way it's dug out, and if you dig out a bit of ore and it's got jagged edges, and this one comes out smooth, and it's the way it's been dug out. That's what I was going to go with.
Okay. So, but I literally.
Is there a correct answer, or is it
that's not correct.
It's
this is my own interpretation. Yeah. Like, this was just an inspiration that I drew from like thinking about this for about 3 months straight, trying to build. Actually, I weren't even intending to build a framework on this, but the insights that were coming to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to like build something with this. So an ore, when you look at how it exists in its like natural state, it's beneath the ground, right? If it had consciousness, it probably wouldn't even know it's, you know, useful for anything. It's just beneath the ground. But there's a lot of inherent value within that ore that is just it's lying dormant beneath the ground, not being put to use. But if it went through a refinement process and reached its highest value point, it can go out and be distributed into the world and benefit the whole of mankind. People are the same. Like, we don't realize that internally we have like inherent value and like capabilities. Like, we're designed to, like, the skills that we have. Again, what I spoke about in the beginning, our natural interest, our energy, like what we're gravitating towards, that's usually an indicator of what we're going to be good at. And that's like values that we have, you know, like inherent value and skills and talents that if we develop it, you know, because just because you have a talent in something doesn't mean you're going to be good at it, right? Because if you don't practice it, you're not going to refine yourself. So we go through like a refinement process, like these ores go through when they, you know, diamonds get put under pressure to, you know, and so like every single human, for every human is different. You know, some humans are really good at organizing systems. Others, like yourself, you're really good at inspiring people and, you know, creating new possibilities and all that. And if you were to try and do what someone else, like something that you're not inherently like even interested in, which, what, I don't know, paperwork, DIY, right? And you had to like submit yourself to that lifestyle of you're not going to feel fulfilled, and you're probably not going to do a good job because it doesn't bring you to life, kind of thing. But if you're in the area of life that you're designed to be in, you're going to benefit the whole of mankind by, you know, focusing on that area of life because that's what you're designed to do, kind of thing.
It's energizing for that. Yeah. I think that's so true, really, and really good. And can I say it a different way? I've said videos on it before saying people need to find their purpose. Once they've found their purpose, is a different way of saying it. Is a more surface level. Yours is a deeper way, like a surface level. But what sometimes gets in the way is the other stuff we were just talking about. So if they've had their upbringing's been put on them, so they've had a bad upbringing. There's many different ways a child can have a bad upbringing, and then those traumas and things are put on them, and it's like a river. So when I first did Reiki, have you heard of Reiki?
Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but
I first did Reiki years and years ago. It was explained to me this way, like a river, and your river, your chi, if you like. The Chinese call it chi, don't they? So Reiki, chi.
Oh, okay.
So the river is flowing, and over time, there's a trolley in it, and then there's a football, and then there's a bag of rubbish, and the river's just not flowing right.
Okay.
So you can't take everything out of the river at the same time because it'll just rush down, it'd be too much.
Yeah.
So it's just one thing at a time. You take things out the river, and then it's flowing lovely, and it's flowing clear, it's flowing nice. What I'm saying is to have a river that's full and then try and find a purpose, it's not going to be done with the right intent or you've got to get yourself in a position to be able to then go and find your purpose.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So deal with, for example, old emotions that are dormant and things that are people, because it can make you ill if you don't properly deal with the past sometimes. It can make you ill because you harbour it, and it's like it'll turn into, it can just make you ill. And it could be a bad shoulder, it could be stomach, it could be, you can't hold on to
it's
things.
Energy that stores in your body, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it needs to move.
Yeah.
But if people can identify, it's not as easy as just, I'll just take that out then, I'm great, I'm fine now. It's not like that. This is just a very quick metaphor.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, people should be able to find their purpose.
Yeah.
And then the world will be a better place, like you say. It's like,
absolutely.
You know, I don't want to work in an office. I love working with woodwork. And look, that guy's now dead happy and he's working woodwork.
Yeah.
I like dealing with people.
Yeah,
I'm in my alignment. I love dealing with people.
Yeah.
So it energizes me. But like you were saying about, which is interesting about the yin yang, the introvert thing, I then need that minute after. Like my son calls it his social battery or whatever he calls it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do need that bit then to re-energize and then come back out again, don't you? But anyway, going back to what you were saying about your theory, I suppose, what you've done, do you agree though that you can't go chasing a purpose if you're not really sorted out yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what as
Does
well?
that make sense? Yeah.
Everything you said, it was like coherent. Like it made perfect sense. And I love that theory about the river, by the way.
It's great, isn't it?
It's so visual and it helps you to like make it more. When I explain things, sometimes it's just so abstract. I like how you allowed me to visualize something. That's a skill that I'm
energy running through it. Whether you want to say it comes from source, from God, and it comes through.
Yeah.
If it's blocked, it's not. We've got to have your river running right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. I think, I struggle with like putting things in like a visual context just because like maybe like most of this
Do you
podcast,
think that way? If you close your eyes and you imagine a mountain,
No,
rivers...
my thoughts are auditory. So this is another thing about, understanding personality type. People have different thought processes. Like my thoughts, I remember the things people said. Like,
No
I don't
way.
really,
You can't see pictures. Close your eyes a second.
What am I doing? What do I do now?
Picture a mountain.
Oh, I can say if you tell me.
Yeah, river.
But like naturally,
what is it though? Is it like really vivid, or is it? Do you see words, or do you see the mountain?
See, like the
mountain, river,
the mountain
a
that
woods
I'm
next to it.
Right now, it's like maybe a mountain that I saw on Google or something. Like, it's
you're not creating your own mountain.
No, I don't know. Like naturally, my thoughts are just words. Like I'm thinking auditory thoughts.
Because I learnt this quite recently that people don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that people think in words or pictures.
What do you think in?
Pictures.
Really?
I visualise.
Ah, okay.
So I think I do.
Yeah.
I think I can do both, but I generally visualise.
I would probably need to be prompted to like visualise stuff.
Yeah, when I visualise, like if I can see, like say mountain, woods, it's not really vividly clear.
Right,
like,
same. It's like a bit
now.
like hazy.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of,
a bit hazy.
Same.
So I don't know. But that's a whole different path.
Oh my gosh, we could go down so many routes. But what you mentioned about like the river and getting rid of the stuff that you kind of need to
definitely over an hour. Go on.
We'll wrap this up. I'll wrap this up on this one.
No, sorry, Rich, but no. Go on, carry on.
Oh, sorry, Richard. So like when you start from, I had a really powerful quote that said the most important responsibility of a leader is to clarify reality. So like, when people get all this stuff kind of inside them.
Good on that.
It's so powerful. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Because because of our perception, it's not always realistic. We're seeing it, based upon our fears and our traumas and stuff like that. When you can understand the objective nature of humans, and you can it's like a really solid foundation for growth. Like for me, dealing with like traumas and trying to process my emotions, because I understand that I lead with extroverted intuition and I know that's what kind of brings me to life, and then what balances me is my introverted thinking. Again, this is all stuff I would have need to explain on a visual. I know how to find balance within myself. So yeah, for me, it helps me to kind of deal with my emotions in a way, because I know that I do prioritize logic anyway, and emotions are not really, there's something I can kind of tolerate. I don't really prioritize it. But that's why you have to have like a correct understanding of what is your reality as a person and how are you kind of built, how are you wired? Because like we do take on things from the external world that don't actually belong to us. And like you said about the river, we need to remove them, but like where do they exist inside of us kind of thing? But I think personality type and understanding your like cognitive functions
helps.
It really helps with that. It helps you to see.
I think if it helps, it helps. Whether it's Reiki, astrology, your religion, whoever's religion,
just exploring
anything that can help you move forward and identify and work with yourself and get better and help, and helps, which helps then the people. That's why my thing is self-awareness. I've put it under the banner of self-awareness because I'm not hanging my hat on anything particular because it's individual to the person.
Right.
Their path is always individual.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yours is religion. Someone else's might be this.
It's religion and personality type.
And
psychology.
Yeah,
sorry.
So many. Sorry. Yeah.
No, but I have a deep connection with my religion. So yeah. You're not wrong. Do you know what I mean?
No, but it just gives you, Just, I was going to ask you quickly. I can't believe how it's been that's gone so fast.
Weren't even looking.
I'm
in
fast.
flow.
I glanced. I know. I was like, shit.
Like I'm in flow talking to you. So.
Where does your when I ask your opinion now on this, is this going to be your opinion and what you think, or is it going to be based on the religious side of it? So it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back into this. Bear with me. Right, you said like when people give advice, it's where they've come from.
Yeah.
I always remember my mum went to a psychic once, and she said to her, you got some really good career changes coming up, and I think you're going to be a manager, yeah? I said it in that tone on purpose. So my mum had already been there and done that years ago.
Yeah.
So to her, being a manager was really high up, and the pinnacle of your career, and that's great if that's your aspirational. So it's always where their perception is, isn't it? Even when you're coming through a psychic medium.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
So she's in awe.
There's going to be bias.
I think you could be a manager.
The bias.
I was like, that's nothing to me, but to her, from her perspective, that was a big thing. So you should always be careful. Anyway, that matches what you were saying earlier about depends on where they're coming from. Bias, so the religious leaders talking to you are based on It's their experiences where they were coming from.
I'm so glad you understand. Like,
yeah, no, yeah, it depends where they're coming from, and
Yeah.
that's why whenever you take advice from anywhere, if it's a mentor or anything, you got to see where they're coming from and understand. Like we're like talking about qualification, you got to qualify somebody about where they're up to. And anyway, I wanted to ask you. What's your view on like the ghosts and the psychic medium side of things?
So, okay.
I don't know where I come from. I decided to ask you randomly.
Yeah,
well, I've just gone over here. I have. Sorry. Yeah.
So, like, again, asking me if it come from religion, it has come from religion because I believe my religion is a true thing, you know, and I believe my Quran to be the word of God.
Okay, so what does the Quran say on?
It says about there's another creation that live amongst us called the jinn.
I've heard of jinn.
Yeah, like people.
But aren't they seen as
like
bad
ghosts.
though, jinns?
They're like basically like humans. There's good, there's bad, there's Christians, there's Muslims, but they just have. I've been talking to my daughter, my poor 11-year-old daughter, trying to like, you know, process all these abstract ideas I put on her. I think they live in like the 4D realm or maybe the 5D realm because they can see us, but we can't see them. So they obviously live in a different dimension to us and they can perceive things that we can't perceive. But I do believe that these jinn, they work with clairvoyants and psychics and they give them information that we don't have access to in this 3D realm. That who knows how they have this knowledge, but again, the timelines. I don't know if you've done any work into like dimensions. If you looked into
a little bit, the quantum field and things. Or...
I'm not qualified to talk about it at all. But all I know is that in the four-dimensional world, they don't experience time like the way we do. Like they see maybe everything.
Oh yeah, so there is no time, is there?
Yeah, basically.
There is no time. Yeah.
And I don't know. I think psychics they may get information from these jinn that pass it on because I think people like very high up in the entertainment industry. I think there's different kind of people who work with these creatures. And
you were about to go down that path, weren't you?
Just a bit dark, but
yeah, you are. The entertainment industry, you were going
all that selling your soul and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I think they have ability to connect to these unseen forces, and they get information from them. Hence why I don't go to psychics or clairvoyants. I don't trust them. I think there's some very ill-intended jinn, very good intended jinn, but I don't know which one's communicating.
Yeah, so what's the point in
So I just, but again, it's a very religious perspective. So it's not something that I came up with myself. I would have never, because I can't see these things, I would have never been able to perceive it on my own anyway. But that's my view on that.
But isn't that the same thing like we can't see God?
Well, because the thing is, you can see his creation.
Yeah.
So like, again, when I mentioned about how I connect through his creation and contemplating on everything around me and how it's so perfectly constructed, that's how I kind of not see God, but know God.
What's the standard? You said you've been debating with atheists. You said at one point.
No, I wouldn't say it's really a debate. It's more like an exploration of conversation. Yeah.
So what would they say? What's the standard go-to questions? Because I'm sure they all say the same thing, don't they?
Yeah.
Like who made God or whatever. What is the standard?
Well,
is there a standard question that you've been asked or?
Well, yeah. Like what was the starting point? Oh, what I've been asked.
Yeah, when you've had the chat with the atheists.
Oh my gosh, I have so many. Again, it's like me and you. It goes in so many directions. I can't even really pinpoint. But yeah, I mean, it kind of always goes back to like energy. Like what their belief is like everything originated from energy. And from what I understand, energy has to have a container. It can't exist by itself. And so like that argument, again, I'm no flipping, scientist.
It's just your opinion.
But
yeah,
it's just what makes sense to me is that it couldn't have originated from energy because energy having to have a container, where did that container come from? Like it has to, it can't move on its own. It's like energy moves, right? And it has to have a container to move. So that container, where did that container come from? Like, it's like you can't say like energy is existing on its own kind of thing. So that, for me, can't be a starting point because there has to be something preceded it, like a container. Where did that container come from? Does that make sense?
Yeah. But then where did the guy who made the container come from? How far back do we go?
Yeah. So
see what I mean? Who made God? Where did God come from?
I did actually hear you mention this on one of your other podcasts.
Did I?
I think it might have been. Maybe it was someone else. I don't know.
Let's pretend it's me.
Yeah, we'll just pretend it's you. So so the question who made God, again, this is just my belief. I'm not projecting this onto anyone else. I think that question itself is us trying to understand God like with our very limited mindset because we live in this world where we can either understand this or that. Again, everything exists in opposites, like good, evil, right, wrong, beginning, end. But God is unlike his creation. Everything that contains opposites, that is a creation of God. But that's just, again, it sounds like an easy way out, but that is the only thing that makes sense. Like, even if you go through multiple arguments, that's the only one that really makes sense out of all of them. And I've explored quite a lot. And that's the one I come back to. It's like, there has to be an originator with no beginning, no end, all powerful, all knowing, perfect attributes, no deficiency. Because, you know, people could say it's nature, but nature don't have intelligence. Like the forces of nature, like an ocean doesn't just decide to wave. But it's like, you know, nature obeys natural laws. You know, everything that...
It just flows.
Yeah, so the concept of who created God, I think, is something that we can only ask with our understanding of beginning and end. And I don't believe God has a beginning or an end.
Because in the Christian, it's like God has his name done in Moses in the burning bush. And he said, what's your name? He says, I am. Because basically it's I am, so we are all God. I am. Have you heard that one?
No, but I have heard the...
So we are God.
Oh, right.
We're his creation. We're all the same.
Is that
we
like
are God. I am.
Catholicism? Is that
Catholic
belief?
I think it's Christian.
Oh, okay.
Probably both.
Yeah, so I believe we're separate from God. I think we're God's creation. And
He doesn't live within you.
His knowledge, his awareness, his wisdom is all... Like his sight-seeing, wisdom, knowledge is all encompassing. But he exists outside of creation. Because, so
he's overseeing everything.
Yeah, that's what I believe, yeah. That we believe that he is, you know, above the creation, above whatever creation is out there. Like he is above all of that. And his knowledge encompasses everything. So he's all seeing, all hearing, all knowing, but it's not in the way that we would have to be present in everything kind of thing. Because, I mean, I know there's some people who believe that, but that I don't... For me, it doesn't really make sense that God would be present in, like, filth. And, you know,
murders and
just filthy things. I feel like he's way above, like, kind of even what humans attribute to him. Because
why does he allow it? That's always a standard question that people ask. Why does God allow the
like bad stuff to happen?
Children, basically, anything to do with children is bad.
Yeah. So again, I think this life is a test, and I think humans have been, with our moral compass, we have the ability to choose right or wrong. You said earlier on you don't believe in right or wrong. I think, like, okay, we'll look at it like this.
I do believe
actions
in right
that have
wrong. I do believe in right
okay,
wrong.
you do.
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, what I'm saying is I don't need the religion to tell me.
Oh, okay. So your moral compass, like what I'm literally about to say then. So like your moral compass, the actions you take that have fruitful outcomes, the actions you take that have, you know, negative and destructive consequences. So lost my train of thought. Where were we going with this one?
Why does he allow
things to happen? So so we get to choose, but there's been like a criteria that has taught mankind. Again, only if you're religious you'll understand this. What to do, what not to do. For example,
10 Commandments or whatever.
Like all religious people should not murder. They should give charity. You know, feed your neighbor. If you go to bed, you know, with your belly full and your neighbor's hungry, basically you're not a good neighbor. Like the moral kind of ethics, and man gets the choice to do that. So like because of man's kind of nature that we kind of can choose this or that, we create the state of the world kind of thing because we have that free will. Like we can choose this or that. Again, everything in opposites. So that's why I think, and also when you look at even things that like you perceive as very, very evil, there's always, I can't say always because I don't know everything, but like there's most of the time something good that comes from that. You know, like what I've been through in my life, I feel like it's had a good outcome. So I don't think anything in this world is entirely like evil. I think there's always good. Again, yin and yang. You know, even like if you look at it from the other perspective, like things that seem good on the inside, like look at all these celebrities living the best life ever. Inside they're empty. You know, it's like nothing's ever purely good. There's always a bit of, you know, bad or evil that exists in that, and the opposite as well. So that's my view on that. I think God, because he's all knowing and all wise, we can't even really perceive or understand the wisdoms behind why what happens, why it happens, or the way it happens.
It's like expecting a 5-year-old to understand how mortgages work. You know, they're just not going to have a clue on this. There's no point, is there?
Yeah, literally. But I just
might be a bad example, but you know.
But I get the principle of it. So
and to go back to you, because So how did you? It feels weird using the word cult. How did you get out the cult?
This is what I was going to clarify ages ago.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
It was me. Like it's both of us really. Like ADHD brains.
Just what your hair? Do your hair on the plant? Yeah, go on, I was helping you.
Yeah. So it was just the whole. Again, my mind was expanding. I was starting to take myself, like when you're physically away from an environment, you start seeing things differently, right? And I started to open up more. I wanted to like seek more.
And you were married at this point?
Exploring. Was I married at this point?
Or was you?
No, this was. Yes, I was. Sorry. Yes, this was in like 2019.
And was he studying or was he in England?
No, so I've been married twice. So like that's a whole other. Yeah, no, it's okay. So obviously, like I did end up getting out of that marriage in 2017. And then I remarried again. And
From the same mosque?
no, because this was someone different. I was going to say so, but there's some things I can't really mention on here.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's right. Yeah,
I protect people's kind of
yeah,
like
of course.
privacy
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Just to clarify for the like viewers. So yeah, this was my second marriage, and it was when this is quite a fundamental thing to how I kind of got out of the mindset. When I saw, because he was representing the same religion, but in a more open-minded way. So it's like there was like baby steps that happened. Being so submerged in that very black and white linear, like rigid thinking, and then seeing someone else who was also practicing that methodology, but not in such a rigid way. Like he was very open-minded and speaks
living
to
his
people
life
and just, very, very like balanced person. I'm like, oh, it's like I have to see things outside of me to know it's real, right? And so it was when I was married to him, I actually got interested in personality type and I started studying it more. And then I just developed this keen interest in humans. You know, I wanted to meet more. I wanted to talk to more humans. And like I started developing more relationships with them. And I just started to care about what they think and how they feel and their stories. And that
Curious, like a curiosity kicked
it's like
in.
it all came out. It's like it was suppressed for so long. And when I had the the content and the material that would draw it
And the
out of me,
freedom
it just all came out. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to know it. I need to speak to everyone. I need to know everything I can possibly know. Because, it was just so liberating to be able to think outside of that box that I probably put myself in unknowingly, because I think we all do in some way. We don't realise how much we put ourselves in a box. And so, that was how I kind of got out of it, just getting into understanding human nature.
Did they just realise one day you just didn't turn up? Like, do you remember your last visit to the...
No, I don't know. It's kind of not that many years ago, but...
Did they come and ask you why? Where are you? We haven't seen you, or was it just did they let you go?
Not really, because like as soon as you didn't turn up, they would just instantly just start thinking negative things like, "Oh, she's gone somewhere else." And so I didn't. I didn't really. I can't really remember how that all happened, but I just slowly disassociated from them. I also moved to London in 2021. Was there for a while, which is very isolating. Also, a lot of my creativity kind of came through in that period of time because I was so isolated. This is where I started studying, Carl Jung's work in more depth, and there was nowhere for it to go. So I had all these like foundations and these frameworks that I was studying, opening my whole mind up to a new world, and I wanted to do something with it, but I had no community around me, no environment. Because the work that I do, you have to have a community. Otherwise, it's one thing having the knowledge, but you need to see it manifest in the people. But I had no one around me because I was in London. I couldn't facilitate it. I couldn't make it real. So when I moved back to Reading, I remember like in the first 2 weeks, I delivered my first workshop to like the sisters, and they loved it, just understanding how they think, like their thought processes, their decision-making functions, their orientations, like all those natural tendencies that we have as humans.
Did it open their minds? Was the feedback that
it was a very like mixed kind of audience, like different levels of practicing, but they just loved it. There was one sister who came up to me at the end, and normally she's quite private, but she like opened up to me about so much stuff because there's like this natural connection that happens when you're speaking about biological behavior. Like I see this as a part of you, and I also have this in a similar sense, and we kind of connect on that, and we think in similar patterns, and we notice similar things in our environment or in our minds, like the patterns that we're making in our mind. And you connect with people biologically because of those things, not because of what's within your proximity or the job that you had to go to, all these like unstable things that don't ever last, but you connect with like constant biological behavior. And they also affect you internally because they bring out your best kind of qualities, you know what I mean? Because that's how you're supposed to function. But it's just all very interesting, going into the nuances of it. I've just developed a bit of an obsession, to be fair.
Do you think there's a massive conscious shift going towards more self-awareness and meaning and purpose?
Alex.
I feel it. Do you feel it?
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the days of... Sorry.
I'm just...
The time, I know.
I'm thinking like how long
they could do another 2 hours here. Just we'll be all right. Rich,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Rich. That's what every podcast I got to say, Rich. I think people are starting to reject that negative, regular, low vibing frequency world.
Yeah.
And I think like the yin and yang thing, the opposites. I think as the world is going that way and that feeling is going that way, it's like that one is trying harder to hold on and harder to push it like a last push of negativity or a last push of, as we're all trying to, we don't realise how similar we all are. And we're told that we're not, and we are. No matter what religion you follow, well, unless it's a dodgy sect that wants to harm people.
Yeah.
Apart from them.
Yeah, apart from them.
Apart from them. But most people,
Yeah.
we want to all be that way.
Connected as well.
Just being happy.
Being
just
human.
be happy and human, yeah. And that, it's opened my eyes a bit because you see, you can't help it if you're a man in England or whatever. I don't look at my social media as much. When you do social media, you don't see social media as much. It's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, but the push of obviously the migrants and Muslims and and it doesn't seem to be much education behind it, does there? That there are sects and there's this, that, the other, blah blah. But the positivity is coming, is what I'm going. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I think the positivity is coming, but there's got to be, unfortunately, I feel
the chaos, like the battle of the egos, that has to happen first for like people to find balance. Like we all go this.
You're on the same thing.
I understand exactly what you're talking about, and honestly, it's so strange you bring this up because I was thinking about this recently.
Really?
Like, I literally, So when this is why I shouldn't spend too much time alone, because I go into the depths of so many things that actually seem irrelevant at the time. It's like, why am I thinking of this? And then I get into situations like this where you bring it up, and it's like, oh, I actually had a thought on this. Okay, go back to like, because you said about cavemen earlier on, right? I don't know if cavemen were actually real, but if they were, I can imagine like the way that they operated, they're very in tune with their sensory surroundings. So like they were probably experiencing this world in a very surface level sensory, trying to like create safety and stability.
Eat, breathe, survive. Yeah.
Right. So like we had to learn how to create systems to be safe and, predators and all that sort of stuff. So we had to like, in those very early days, this is me just theorizing, but we had to go through the process of building our world, which was us being in tune with our sensory. Again, this connects to the personality thing of sensing and intuition and how humans learn. So we've gone through that. We've developed these systems. We live in this world. We've built this world. And I feel like now we're kind of going into the other side, which is the intuition. It's like, if you look at Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there's like different levels. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. Physiological, like all those different levels, but it's human nature that as soon as you get one need fulfilled, it goes out of your consciousness. You can focus on the next and the next. So like, if we've got all of our like needs in the world fulfilled, we've got these systems, we've got security, what's going to be next? Like at the top of that pyramid is self-actualization, which now connects to like the intuitive insights and consciousness and like personal development. I feel like we've gone through the sensory, built our world, and now humans are like collectively, because we have like globalization now, we're all connecting in that way. We're reaching the top of that. Some people are staying behind, like you mentioned, trying to drag us back. But it's like the intuitive world now, like we're getting to experience the reality of that because people are getting so interested in consciousness and like personal growth and self-awareness and identity. It's like a different type of experience. Like the whole world is shifted from like the concrete to now the abstract. And I think, again, like what's going to happen in that process is, again, like chaos. People trying, like, because the intuitive people are like messing up the systems of what already exists and what all the, sensory people have built. That's making them feel unstable. So like the battle of the egos are now going to take place where we will find balance eventually. But yeah, just to kind of make the point here is that we're definitely moving into a more conscious world where people are going to discover so much more about themselves and their nature, I think.
Well, I think it's like even this podcast, which is here to create self-awareness.
Yeah.
Through create self-awareness in the listener, you, through the guest, whichever guest they might vibe with or whatever.
Yeah.
And each guest is taking up, not every guest, but most, I think nearly every guest, is taking up their own little slice of the internet world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I've taken up my little slice, and you've got your little slice.
Yeah.
And when people start seeing these slices coming together for positivity, and see what I mean, it becomes stronger and it becomes bigger and it starts to build, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, like human integration.
Human integration. Then, because what people never do,
Yeah.
people who've got the massivest following, the massivest influence, what happens? Why don't they really spread positivity properly?
Yeah.
And really question things and really give a good message? Why don't they? I don't see any, do you?
Yeah.
Really, with a huge proper following.
No, not really, no. I think...
Because they're scared to death, aren't they? Scared to death of being called out and
Yeah, it's that same
and the
kind of-
comment section. And
Yeah, definitely.
I
That's
promise
the
everybody, if or when I've got a massive, huge influence, I will never be scared of that comment section. I will always spread self-awareness and positivity.
Yeah.
Always. That's
Yeah.
my promise.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's got to, and then hopefully the people around you will help you do that, won't they?
Yeah, it's going to have a ripple effect.
It's got to, hasn't it?
Like the energy you bring out that's going to have an influence on
Yeah.
your surroundings. That's why it's so important to like work on yourself, because if you're at your most unhealthy, you're going to like, reinforce that in your environment.
I think the hardest things to do is what you've done. One of the hardest things to do is to self-acknowledge how you were. And I mean, I don't mean like, because there's lots of people out there that have, got over drugs and stuff. No, I mean, to say you're that closed-minded. I mean, can't hear anything, closed-minded. That's it. To go from that to go to completely open is, I think, is an amazing quality.
Yeah,
really good.
Do you know what though, Alex? I think this is like something we all do experience in a way. I don't know.
They don't go full open.
But
I'm in self-awareness and I've done all reading and blah 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 and experience.
Yeah.
But even like I told you about Arms interview, didn't I? And he turned up with this book that was the theology. I can't remember what it was, religious. I've actually messaged him, see if he messages back and tells me. And you go, and even that, my ego go, bing. Something you don't know. I thought you knew it all. And I laugh at myself, going, "Oh, that's quite funny, isn't it?"
Yeah.
But so
you're aware, like, of how your toxic kind of ego is.
I get rid of it straight away. I haven't got an ego, but one thing is that I think one of the hardest things is to acknowledge that you don't know, and to still want to learn.
Yeah.
Some things you spoke about before or during the podcast. And that's interesting. I didn't know that.
So many things I've learned from you.
But people don't do that, do they? They think they get to a point and then they start lazily learning, and they're not open still anymore because they can't be bothered.
But there's still some like very subtle kind of bias trying to, because your ego can really trick you into thinking you're being open, but you're actually still defending your ego.
Yeah, exactly.
But you mentioned about, the going one side or the other. Yeah. Have you seen the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey in it? Because that's got such a deep underlying message.
A long time ago.
How he
says yes to everything, doesn't he?
In the beginning he said no.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
and then his life just turned to utter crap. And then he was challenged to say yes to everything. So basically the underlying message is that if you go to one extreme or the other extreme, there's going to be consequences. And it's like it's a movie talking about the journey of finding balance. Because everything needs balance, literally, even humans, our internal functioning, we need to know how. And we're self-organising as well. Like this happens naturally. If we tune into our natural functioning, we will be able to like naturally organise and master how we can balance ourselves. Like if you, again, just do the research.
Physically or your life.
Like biologically, like your introversion, extroversion, for example, we need both, but we're going to have a preference. Like me, I love being around people. I love, opportunities, breadth. But I need the depth. Like if I just focus on my extroversion, I could achieve a lot of stuff, but it might not mean anything to me because I'm not tapping into my introversion. So the goal is balance. The same with introverted, intuition and sensing. You could be very focused on the physical, practical world and what you can do, but you won't find any meaning in that kind of thing. Like there's no abstract conceptual meaning behind what it means and the possibilities where it could go. So you can get trapped in the physical world. Again, too intuitive, you're going to be too abstract, absent-minded, head in the clouds. No concrete reality to kind of bring to life what your ideas are kind of where they're leading you and stuff like that. So yeah, balance is so important. And your logo kind of indicates that as well. So,
everything is that. Everything is that.
Yeah. The world is polarities.
And it's weird actually this because it's obviously quite famous for drama, isn't it? Which I've ended up weirdly getting into, which is with the acting, which is really weird. But anyway, I've got to start to close it. There's a question at the end I want to ask you. So I kind of like this question's like developed a bit. So
it's going to catch me off guard, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's similar to who are you? Because I don't want the straight answer. What do you want?
What do I want? What do I want? You're asking an extroverted, intuitive, dominant this question that has like so many options open and
I'm
hard to pin down.
Mina. Mina's soul, not the religion, not the scientific personality test. Mina, what do you want?
I want contentment, balance, fulfillment in my life's endeavours and alignment. Alignment is probably the most important one. I would say alignment is...
You're not aligning... Why are you not aligning?
Because I'm in the process of finding... Because I feel like I'm not entirely aligned. I think I still...
You're on the journey towards alignment.
Yeah. Because it's not long ago that I actually came out of this mindset. And I think I have so many experiences and like lessons to learn and, ways of life to live to find, where I actually fit. Because I don't think the life that I live right now with my children as well, I'm not providing the life they want or that they deserve, sorry. But I know like when I feel aligned, that's all I need. When I get that, that's going to be enough for me. And I'll recognise it.
And you can do you recognise that you could help people now before becoming perfectly aligned?
No, I've started making little steps. Like I said, I
If
did a
someone was
workshop.
watching you and really vibing with you,
Yeah.
like I vibed with you and wanted to speak to you,
Yeah.
do they just inbox you? How can you help them?
Yeah, I mean, if they're actually coming to me and they're making the decision, because I'm really against trying to sell things like, my marketing would be more a podcast, giving information, letting people digest it. If they're interested and they gravitate towards it, my inbox is open. I want to connect with the person. If, because they say about avatar and, your ideal client and stuff like that. People will know if I'm right for them by just the way I talk and the things I talk about, if it aligns with them. Again, it's about alignment.
And what you can help them with is their
psychological balance, to be fair. That's like the ultimate goal, is psychological balance. And
helping
also
them identify who they are or what they should be doing. What's your if you're going to say it to a 5-year-old, how would you explain it to a 5-year-old how you can help them?
a 5-year-old.
No. So you're talking to an adult, but you always say it as if you're talking to a 5-year-old.
Just simplify it, which is one of
Really
the hardest
simplify it.
things that I find to do.
I know, that's right.
Yeah, it's so hard. You're really challenging me here. So I don't know how, because the whole concept is it's like really psychological.
You can, come on. Really.
Don't you think finding balance is like simple enough? But a child doesn't really understand the concept of balance, do they?
Yeah.
They're not really going to understand.
Let me see if I could do it on your behalf.
Do you know what I would say?
Helping people align with who they are. Helping people like that? No?
Do you know what I would say?
Go on.
You know the movie Inside Out? The little characters in the mind?
Yeah.
Maybe finding which one your character is.
Oh, there you go.
I think maybe that is what I would say.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
who's not going to get that?
Not a 5-year-old would understand that, right?
Yeah, who's not going to get that?
Which one are you? Are you anger? Are you joy? Are you sadness?
Yeah, and why are you that one? And which way do you want to be?
Like which one's dominant? And the need to balance, because even those characters themselves, like if anger's just in the picture, like if that's the main character, everything's like going to burn to death. And so there's balance. Like you need everything kind of in alignment, kind of working in harmony.
Yeah.
Like all those characters in Riley's mind, they work as an integrated system. But we tend to have preferences.
And you can help. That's how you could help.
Yeah,
people.
basically, psychological balance, understanding how you're fundamentally wired, and also like the unconditioning of contingent circumstances that are taking people away from what brings them to life and what they're naturally designed to do. Because if you actually stick to that, you're going to thrive in life. You're going to perform very well. It's like left-handedness, right-handedness, your preferred hand. You can probably write very well with your right hand or your preferred hand. There's going to be a bit more conscious effort that goes into the left hand, and it's not going to give as good as results as your preferred hand. So we all have preferences. What are your preferences? When you align with that, you're going to see good results.
And I would say to you, if you take advice, which I'm sure you will, Rachel, bless her, who come on and did the astrology, I said the same to her because you're so helpful, and she would be too. And people will try and get as much free information off you as you can.
I'm so generous with information. It's bad. I'm really generous.
Yeah, but really, some people couldn't recognise. Like I think I said to Rachel, she goes, I'll help you look at my future stars or whatever.
Yeah.
I said, I'll pay you, Rachel. I said, I'll have to do it. That I'm aware, because you're from a business background, or I realise that everything, the knowledge she's put into astrology and the effort, it needs paying for. You can't expect things for free.
Yeah.
And some people will just keep taking it off you.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to recognise, you got to get to a point and go, these
boundaries.
Boundaries, it's boundaries. The cell again, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I could just thought I'd just give you that bit.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Is there anything that we haven't? There's lots, but is there anything you want to say before I do officially wrap it up?
I would say just be very careful in terms of who you listen to and take advice from, because people, sometimes not all people, but people don't realise how much they project onto others and how they naturally kind of want other people to align with their biases, and that can really kind of mess up and distort other people's life journeys, like what I've been through myself personally. Make sure you try to align as much as possible with people who are self-aware, working on themselves, because I believe people like that, they kind of have your best interest at heart, because if they're working on themselves, that's a big indicator that they're going to want the best for you as well.
Intent is very important.
Intent's really important, yeah. Because people don't intend to misguide people, or they don't intend to have bad.
Yeah, because mistake can be construed as well as what I mean. Just because their intent's good, it doesn't mean the advice is good.
And the impact also, the intent could be good, but the impact could be bad.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
what I mean. Yeah. So you're right. If the indication is that they're into self-awareness and they're self-developing and humble with that much of an ego, then you do need a bit of an ego to get on in life. It gives you a bit of drive. It can give you a bit of drive. Yeah. The
ego, it's unfortunately where you're kind of quite refined, and like where you tend to perform well is in your ego perspective. But if you go to, because you see the world through that tiny little lens, it's like a compass, you know, your ego just points you north when there's like west, south, east.
Yeah.
But, you know, your
Sometimes
ego,
that
that hyperfixation, it just makes you miss context and other important, relevant information that will actually make you stronger in whatever endeavor it is that you want to do in life. So just, try to transcend the ego. I would say that's probably the best advice so far.
Okay.
Ego transcendence, all the way.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Alex. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed
I
this.
can't believe
I've been
how
in
fast
flow.
it's gone.
I know.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, 2 hours.
I need to start doing
I
that.
just knew that would happen.